What's up, everybody? The day has arrived. We are here. I am here with Imaginator to talk about the critical state of Final Fantasy. What's up, everybody? Wow, chat's already blowing up. KT, thanks for the resub. Really appreciate it. We got Imaginator here. Go ahead, Imaginator, talk. Let's make sure we can hear you.
Hello. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I think we can. I think we can hear you. The volume levels look good. Let's take a look. This will probably be the cleanest my mouth has ever been for a stream. So just so you guys know. Let's go. Let me scroll up here. What's up, Wise Basic? Waited so long for this. Now everyone, let's get hyped. I
Like 6
agree.
months? Wise
Yeah.
Basic's been waiting his whole life for this moment.
Yeah, pretty much. Miss Nightmare, you're here. Oh, and I see it's your birthday tomorrow. Turning 22, still a little baby. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Chester, dude, I haven't seen you in like 8 months, man. How are you doing, brother? Cloud did nothing wrong. You're right. And then he ran into the buzzsaw of Nomura. Here we go with his sub, man. Troublesome Boner, just resub for 5 months in a row, dude. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it, man. What a Chad. All right, let's get through these. Sarah, how are you? I hope everything's going well. Let's see. My friend from work told me he started playing Final Fantasy VII Remake and really likes it. Well, your friend probably has room temperature IQ. Then he asked me if he should play the original, and I told him not to. Man, come on. What's your problem? Raziel streams are dope. Thanks. Ulfgear, what's up? You don't look half day. No, I got good amounts of sleep last night, man. So I don't look like I'm dying. How are you, dude? Well, here we are. What do you got, Zay? You got anything so far? Imaginator, before we just hop into things, you got any shout outs you want to do? Anything like that?
No, it's just awesome to be here. Thanks for having me on the channel. It looks like there's a lot of imaginary friends, as we call them, over in my base in the chat, which I love to see. So if you guys haven't subscribed to Raziel's channel, you're here right now. Just go down and click the button. Super easy.
Yeah, same with my peeps. If you haven't followed Imaginator yet, make sure you guys give him a sub over on YouTube. Because where are you at now? You about at 5K? You're getting close to 5K, right?
We are literally under 50 subscribers.
All right, guys,
5,000.
go for it. Yep, and I'm well on my way to 10. We got 9.1, so we're working our way up.
That's wild.
So as you guys can see, we've got our Final Fantasy stuff in the backgrounds and everything. Imaginator has his action figures back there of Renoa, Zell, Dagger, his Final Fantasy 9 disc set in the back. You can see I got all my Final Fantasy stuff back there, and I'm wearing a Final Fantasy 7 t-shirt. Yeah. So, oh man, what? He doesn't use Twitch, KT. He's YouTube only right now. So by sub, I mean just subscribe too, which is free. You can do that. Late dinner, Sarah. All good. Hopefully, you enjoy the meal. Stuff your face, girl, and then get in here because this is some next level stuff. So yeah, let's start out with before we get into what's wrong with Final Fantasy. Why don't we talk about? Oh, here we go. Here's another sub. Chester, 18 months in a row, dude. What a Chad.
Heck yeah. By the way, can I also say, I don't know if you guys noticed, for all you big FF
version of
fans
the
out there,
exposure of
the
Final
prelude music to
Fantasy
the stream was
LUL.
a song called, I think it's called "Can You Hear the Cry of the Planet,"
Mm-hmm.
which is appropriate for this conversation.
Yeah, it's one of two. It's either you can hear the cry of the planet or can you hear the cry of the planet. It's been named both, but either way, the cry is real. And as you can see, guys, this is the first time ever on one of my streams we actually have it's not a goal, but a support bar there for anybody who wants to donate, that type of thing, to support Cloud with his battle with Stage 4 Nomura right there. Not required, but encouraged. So if you guys want to help support these kind of collabs, it's right there in front of your face. But let's go into our history with Final Fantasy. And Imaginator, I'll let you start, man. How did you get into Final Fantasy?
Me start? Well,
yeah,
I started with Final Fantasy because of you. So you're the start, actually. And I think both of us, I don't want to speak for you, but we kind of got started in Final Fantasy because of our other oldest brother.
True.
It was kind of a team effort.
The one that hardly games at all anymore.
Yeah, right. And Ironically, the only thing he games with a lot nowadays is FF7 Remake. So we'll get to that later.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get to that for sure. Yeah. So likewise with the like Imaginator spot on. So how I got into Final Fantasy was my older brother was having a sleepover, and him and his friends rented Final Fantasy 2, which was Final Fantasy 4. And they wouldn't let me play because they were old teenagers and I was a younger kid. But then the next morning they all went to hang out or wherever they went back in those days, and they left it in the console. And I was like, I got to see what this game is. So I turned it on and I played, started a new game, and it was the first time, like my whole experience up to this point with RPGs was Zelda at this point. So I didn't know
100%.
games. Yeah, there you go. I didn't know that games could have narratives, dialogue, and all that kind of stuff. I didn't think video games were capable of that. And so I sat there and I played it, and I mean, I fell in love with it. And Final Fantasy is ultimately what led me into Final Fantasy and Lord of the Rings are the two things that led me into like MMOs and just the fantasy genre altogether.
Yeah. Well, and I looked at because I was thinking through this process of like, yeah, where did we start? And you're right. Like I remember Final Fantasy 2, which is 4, as you mentioned. We had it on the Super Nintendo via our brother, and I looked it up. That was so Final Fantasy 2, and if I recall, I think we got it like probably year 2 it was out.
Yeah.
That was 1991,
Mm-hmm.
dude. That was
Yeah.
91. So that would have put us at about 92 when
Yeah,
we
I
were
was
playing
9
it.
years old. Yeah.
Yeah, right? I was 7. So, like, we're aging ourselves for 1, but 2, like, well, we'll get into it, but these were really the golden years. They really
Yeah.
were.
Yeah. They
So
really
my
were.
start came off of yours after you and our oldest brother started playing Final Fantasy 2 on the SNES a lot. Of course, he was playing, you were half playing, and I was straight up in the back row, like watching, because I couldn't play at all. Um, until we got Final Fantasy 3 a couple years later in 94.
From a pawn shop.
But still,
I found it at a pawn shop,
yeah, yeah.
still sealed. And I rode my bike home, and I was like, went to our older brother, and I was like, dude, get your allowance, get your money. I found a sealed copy of Final Fantasy 3.
Do you remember how much you paid for it?
I think it was like, I want to say we paid like $30, something like that.
Can you imagine how much that would be worth?
And
right
I
now?
still have that copy. It's up there behind me, up on the shelf on top of the SNES. Final Fantasy 3 is right there. Yeah.
We sold a lot of our SNES games over the years, but that one I was the keeper until about a year ago, and then
Yep.
Raziel became the new keeper.
Yeah, yeah, it just passes around.
Yeah.
And don't worry, chat. We will try to catch up with everything you say as we get pauses and breaks here. Okay. Let's see. The next thing I want to hit is because what are some of your earliest memories of? I mean, we talked about how we got started, but what were some of your earliest memories of Final Fantasy Imaginator?
So the biggest that you had mentioned that Final Fantasy was sort of your gateway into fantasy, the fantasy world in general, right?
Yeah.
And it very much was so for me too. So for the longest time, all throughout high school, even into college a little bit, I thought I was going to be an illustrator, maybe a concept artist. I thought my art, which is something I used to do a lot, was going to be a big part of my life. And it still kind of is, but not so much anymore. But where that whole thing started was we somehow had the Final Fantasy 3, which is 6, strategy guide, which of course is plastered with Yoshitaka Amano art. He's the concept artist for the Final Fantasy series and has been forever.
Yeah.
And so some of my earliest memories were actually not with the games. It was with flipping through that strategy guide because I couldn't really play the games very well, as a 6, 7-year-old. 6, 7. Sorry, I have teenagers.
Oh man, what does that even mean?
I don't know. I think it means nothing. I think it's just supposed to annoy old people like us.
I guess. Well, all it really does is make them look retarded, but whatever.
My kids have banned it. In my house, my kids are on a total ban of it. So.
Oh, dude, Wise Basic has become a member of my channel on YouTube. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, dude. Much love.
Wise Basic is slightly toxic now.
Yeah, he is slightly toxic. Oliver, I do see you, Oliver. So thanks, man. 67 mean, ooh, that's dope or that's cool. Why not just say it's cool? Why not just say that's cool? Or sick.
Or like, what we used to say in like the 90s, dude, that's toy. That's
Yeah.
Voight.
Or you might as well just, I mean, if you're going to use numbers, just use the best number. Just say 69. Like, why just skip
You're so
over
close. You're only 2
68?
numbers
Just
off.
do it. Yeah. It's been cool forever. So, so yeah, with what you were saying, yeah, some of my earliest memories. I don't want to get into the Final Fantasy VII memories because I would say those are more the potent, more so than early. But as I said, Final Fantasy was a stepping stone into me getting into the fantasy genre of all kinds, along with Lord of the Rings, which ultimately is also what led into me eventually becoming an actor. So in a way, it influenced even that kind of thing. So nice,
Yeah.
Miss Nightmare.
It's
Nice.
weird how something like Final Fantasy, this little game series.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, I was talking over you.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it is so weird that little gateway drug is. It sounds weird to say it like this, but it really made us who we are because likewise. Oh, let's go, Oliver.
Oliver, man. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Likewise, the games got me into Japanese culture, which led me to the Final Fantasy. In fact, I think you introduced me to the Final Fantasy quote cartoon, which is on a poster right behind me.
Oh yeah, the one with Pretz. Yeah.
Yeah, which is a sequel to Final Fantasy V, by the way.
Yeah.
And that in turn got me into Japanese culture, which led me over there to live there and got me into martial arts. And really everything I am today, I owe like 90% of it to Final Fantasy.
Yeah, Final Fantasy and Lord of the Rings all day, man.
Right. Which was right around the same time, actually.
It really was. Like I got into the Hobbit cartoon right around the Final Fantasy VI / Secret of Mana era, like what I was gaming with.
What a freaking awesome childhood we had.
We really did, man. We really did. And it's easy to take it for granted. So we've got some of these memories. And that's the one thing I do want to add is a lot of people, especially gamers, have brand loyalty, right? For the longest time, I've never been loyal to a console. As you saw with my console purchases for the first while, I always went where Final Fantasy went. I mean, we had a Super Nintendo, and then after that, I got a PlayStation for Final Fantasy Tactics and Final Fantasy VII. And then I didn't get a PS2 because my roommate had one, so I just played his. But the main reason I got a PlayStation 3 was because of the rumors and that they did that demo.
Oh, the demo.
Adrian!
Forgot about that. Let's go!
Thanks, brother. They did the demo for Final Fantasy VII, just the opening cutscene. And so, but they never said it was going to be a remake, so everyone was losing their shit during that because they're like, dude, they're making a Final Fantasy VII remake, and it's going to be on the PlayStation 3. So I got a PS3. It's also one of the motivating factors.
For the demo, just for the hope.
Oh, dude, $2, wise basic, dude.
Let the money hype
going straight into
begin.
Cloud's charity pocket.
Yeah, let me. I'm gonna have to manually update it because the program I use doesn't do it. So I'm gonna manually.
And by the way, while you do that, Oliver sent a gift sub, obviously, and that won't show up on the thing unless you manually update it. But that is still helping Cloud recover from his PS4 Nomura. That is still helping.
So how many subs have we had since it started? We've had about. Let's see. I'm gonna have to.
Oh, that's true because you got to calculate the membership.
Yeah. So we
You
have.
can guesstimate.
So far, we've got $22, man.
$22. Okay, guys. So as you all know, sorry for this quick interjection. Nostalgia Nation, my channel, streams at 10 p.m. Mountain Time tonight, midnight Eastern. And if we hit $50 for Cloud's Stage 4 Nomura charity fund, I'll do a $25 eShop or PlayStation card giveaway tonight on my stream. Yeah. So let's get it. Get it.
Okay. Let's move on.
So you got the PS3 strictly because you had
for a remake. But the thing is I was loyal for a long time to Squaresoft, and of course this was before they became Square Enix. Because pretty much every game of theirs I touched, from the Final Fantasy 2, 3, 7. I didn't like 8, you know that, but like 9, 10. Chrono Trigger, Secret of Mana. I loved all those games so much that like I was like, dude, it's really rare for Square to have a stinker, right? Like it's really, really rare. Yeah. And so if I saw something with Squaresoft on it, I was like, bro, I gotta play. What's up, 4 on 6? Let's see.
4 on 6 is here.
Yeah. So It was really funny too, because I remember when Final Fantasy 3 came out. Dude. Another Jason, what's up, man?
Nightmare.
Miss Nightmare, I appreciate it.
Let's go.
27 now. Updating that. Okay.
I've already got a gift card giveaway for tonight, locked and loaded. I know it's going to happen.
It'll happen. It'll happen. All right. So, all of us in the United States were absolutely blown away when 3 came out, because we were like, wait. I mean, no, when 7 came out, because we were like, what happened to 4, 5, and 6? We didn't even realize that we were getting different versions. And of course, with the Western, Japanese to Western influence, we got Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, which was pretty much made for people with room temperature IQ.
Which they thought Westerners were. Japanese people at the time were like,
they thought we were retarded.
People in the States are stupid. They're all retarded.
Yeah.
So, I mean, granted, Final Fantasy 2 and 3 were really tough. So I get where they're coming from, but like even the Final Fantasy 2 and 3, 5, 4, and 6 that we got were really dumbed down. Like the actual programming and the enemy damage output and all that was watered down for us.
And right, and you figure that out if you ever go back and play the official re-releases, the direct translations of Final Fantasy 4, especially 4, and it's a much more difficult game than the standard.
Well, and what's insane is we didn't even get the actual Final Fantasy 2 until the early 2000s in Final Fantasy, what was that called? Origins on PlayStation 1. And we didn't get Final Fantasy 5
wasn't it an anthology? 5
anthology was 6 and 5 and 6.
Okay, because the one that came with Chrono Trigger was Chronicles.
Origins was 1 and 2. And then they had, and we didn't get Final Fantasy 3, the actual 3, which is the poster
until Chronicles,
until the DS remake in 2004. It's like, what?
Holy crap!
We were left in the dust because we were dumb. It was the whole Doki Doki Panic situation, which is the original name for Super Mario Brothers 2, which was reskinned to be Mario 2, right?
Because Mario 2 is too hard, and they renamed it as Lost Levels.
Right, because Westerners suck at everything.
Well, they thought we sucked at everything.
Yeah.
Now, where the Asian cultures have the advantages in like clicks per second, so like RTS games, they definitely outplay American and any Western audience there. But we weren't too stupid for these. I don't think so, anyway. For the true RPGs.
No. Well, and I think it was a revelation to Square Soft at the time. Once 2 was popular. 3,
right,
otherwise known as 6, was, I think they started to notice by that point, like, hold on, there's a crowd here. There's an audience for this. We need to get 7.
Right. Well, Final Fantasy 1 was like Square's last chance. They're like, if this doesn't work, their company was going to go under.
Which is why they named it Final Fantasy.
That's the rumor. We don't even know if that's 100% true. But
oh, really?
Yeah, it's some people say that's the truth, some people not. Either way, it is true that if Final Fantasy 1 hadn't have hit in Japan and didn't hit at all in the West, because RPGs were not doing well in the West on the NES and the Master System. They just weren't doing well. So they were like, yeah, if we don't get even a chunk of audience here, we're screwed. Like, we're done. We'll run out of money.
What's insane is their game before Final Fantasy was Rad Racer. Do you remember Rad Racer?
I do remember Rad Racer. Yeah, what a piece of garbage, man. All right, let's catch up on chat here before we go to the next topic here. But I just wanted to say that not even Square knew or anticipated the impact that Final Fantasy was going to have on the West or anywhere. They thought they were going to have a one and done in Japan and go out with a blaze of glory, and they were very, very, very wrong. Okay, let's catch up on chat. Or how Mega Man 2 had an easy mode in America. Yeah, that's true. A lot of Japanese studios were doing something similar. We just got to summon Jeebus. I don't know who that is. I played Dragon
Jeebus is the GOAT.
Oh, is he?
Oh, yeah. He'll come in here and save Cloud in one fell swoop.
Oh, geez. I played Dragon Quest first. I noticed how Final Fantasy characters feel more human. The MC in Dragon Quest 7, 8, and 11 were kind of bland in my book, especially 11, which was a meme. I didn't play any of the Dragon Quest games, so I don't have an opinion on that.
I have a couple thoughts on Dragon Quest, but I'm going to save them for a little bit later.
Okay.
But in general, yeah, totally hear you. And if you don't know, to Adrian's point, and we've talked about this before, and we have a little bit varying opinions on this, but Dragon Quest protagonists are all silent protagonists.
Yeah. Well,
so that's kind of what he's saying.
4 on 6 brings up a good point. We were talking about how the Japanese thought we were retarded, but did you know that Emerald and Ruby weapon in Final Fantasy VII were not in the Japanese version? They were only in the American
I did not
version.
know that.
Yeah.
I had no clue.
What's up, Mr. Beans?
Mr. Beans.
What's up, Merc, dude? How you doing, brother?
Heck yeah.
But Mr. Beans, let's see. I just love being a gamer girl. I've been a gamer since I was 4, and I remember first time one I played was Halo. Just love inspiration. I mean, inspiring games are everything. But you are a gamer girl, Miss Nightmare, so stay off Instagram. All right. Mega 64. It has Sakaguchi in their video. You guys should react. Mega 64.
Oh man, do you remember Mega 64? They were like early YouTube days.
I don't know. No, my early YouTube days were really early. So
yeah, Mega 64 was like almost 20 years ago. They actually had a website before YouTube existed doing gaming skits and stuff.
We're doing well, Jason. We're doing well, man. We're just getting started. Yeah, get off Instagram. It's AIDS. All right. Let's talk about the big giant leap though, because even when Final Fantasy 2, 4, was successful in the United States, it kind of made people look, because looking at sales and numbers, Final Fantasy 1 did okay. It didn't do great in America. It did okay. Final Fantasy 2 did well, and people were like, "Dude, this is awesome," right? And then, of course, Final Fantasy 3 was the first Final Fantasy game in the United States that had actual television commercials for it, if you remember them, like with Mog and stuff like that. It was on TV.
Yeah, it was like clay animated, right?
Some of it was. There was a few clay, there was a few
like
cartoons.
Animation or something.
Yeah, but it was... Mog had this like deep voice in it, like this rough, deep voice. And it was so cool. It was so funny. And so 1 did okay, 2 did well, and 3 did very well. But it still was like, okay, what can we do next, right? How can we really capture the Western audience? And that was not only one of the most revolutionary games they ever did. I
lost your audio somehow.
My audio. Can you hear me?
There you go. All right. You're back.
So Final Fantasy...
Why is coming in with dollar bills all over the place?
Is he? I'm not seeing them. Oh, dude, super chats. How come they're not popping up?
There's no message in them. I wonder if that's why. But
that's why.
3 separate $1 bills.
And he gifted another sub. So...
Dude, wise.
So that's another $9, man. Hold on, let me update it.
Cloud's he's in good shape.
Yeah. Okay.
We just replaced his catheter and his blood bag with a fresh one.
Yeah, dude. He might make it, guys. he might make it. Okay. So here we go. Yeah. There they come. Ooh, yeah, another $5. Yeah.
Dude, another $5.
Can you see this?
I can see that.
Oh,
I think I have it. I think it's because there's a message block on. I mean, an alert limit on my YouTube for like $5, and I don't know why it's set that way.
Oh, I see. So below $5. I gotcha.
I might be below 2. Might be below 2.
We're in trouble. Oh, Jeebus is here.
Oh no, Jeebus, what's up, man? What's up, dude?
What up?
Welcome. And they had what they needed with Final Fantasy VII. They needed Final Fantasy VII to do what nobody else could do. Final Fantasy VII was revolutionary, not just because of for the Final Fantasy series, right? It was revolutionary for the entire gaming industry because it released on the PlayStation. It's what drove traffic from the Nintendo 64 to the PlayStation. No RPG up to this point had really been done in 3D with FMVs yet. Nothing had been done like that.
Multiple discs.
With multiple discs. And so now we're going to talk about Final Fantasy VII. Many of you know, outside of Tactics, it's my absolute favorite game. And we'll get into some Tactics too, because Tactics outside of Mystic Quest and the Chronicle games on the Game Boy was its first like offshoot, its first non-numbered big game, big hit. But
That's right.
yeah. So
That's right, because Final Fantasy Legends on the Game Boy were technically Secret of Mana games. Those were the beginning of the
they were
Seiken Densetsu series, otherwise known
correct.
as Secret of Mana. So
Correct. So I don't really
even
count
those were
them as
reskinned.
offshoots. Yeah. I don't really count those as offshoots. Okay. So let's talk about.
Dude, Wise. Did you see Wise dropped $50 just now?
Did he?
Freaking Wise, dude. Or not, sorry, not Wise, Jeebus.
$50.
Jeebus.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it
Let's
to show up, dude.
I told you, he's off his rocker, this guy.
Jeebus, what are you doing, man? What are you
He's saving
doing,
Cloud.
man?
He
He's
saw him in the
saving
bed and was
Cloud,
like,
dude.
I gotta help.
I'll put it in there right now. I trust it'll pop up.
Dude, that's freaking nuts.
Let's
It
throw
wasn't
it
me,
up
you said
there.
Wise. Yeah, sorry, Jeebus is what I meant.
Thank you,
But yeah,
Jeebus, man. Yeah, keep
dude, we're
going.
almost done. We might have to increase the goal, dog.
I don't know, man.
I might have to do 2 giveaways if we hit the goal.
Oh, there it is. Oh, and Wise did another too. I think it's just really far behind.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, but Wise with another 2.
Dude, Cloud. He's gonna live, I think.
Where did you see the? I'm gonna pull this up. Where did you see?
I'm just watching it live on YouTube on my other monitor, so I'm watching it as it comes. But
okay, that would probably be helpful.
But while you pull that up, something I wanted to comment on that you just said. So FF7 was obviously a hinge point in not only the series Final Fantasy, but gaming in general. It was a huge cultural shift. It was a huge revelation in the industry of, oh my gosh, we can have cinema scale storylines. We can have multiple discs now that we're away from cartridges, except for Nintendo. Right? It was a turning point for Nintendo because, of course, there was the huge controversy of, if you remember, there was a Final Fantasy VII tech demo on the N64 that used FF6 characters to sort of test this engine they were piloting. And when Square learned that they were keeping with cartridges, they shifted to PlayStation, and they're like, "We're out."
Yeah.
And that was that burned the Nintendo and PlayStation.
Well, Nintendo burned themselves really hard.
Square,
I mean, PlayStation exists because Nintendo screwed up.
Well, if I have an entire video on this, if you guys want to go back about 15 videos on my channel, it covers all of this FF7 turning point. But yeah, you're right. They were at this time planning the Nintendo PlayStation, is what it was coined as, this disc-based attachment for Super Nintendo, and at the last minute Nintendo gave them the snuff. Like, it was like the night before a conference to show off the unit, and they were like, nope, we don't have full control, so we're out.
Yeah dude, okay, I see it now. Jeebus, dude. Yeah, I don't know why that didn't show up. Jeebus, wait, did he do another one? He did another one.
He did another, dude. Jeebus.
Shit, man. I don't know why Jeebus, the actual donation's not showing up as an alert. I think it's because Streamlabs doesn't have one for it. But
they might be super stickers instead of super chats.
That's probably what they are, stickers.
That's what they look like.
Yeah. So Wise did another
$2 from Wise too.
So that's $52. Hold on. Let me update this.
Okay, for every $100 we do, I'm doing another giveaway tonight on my stream. So that's one giveaway already in the bag.
Okay.
While you update that, just to finish real quick what I was saying. So it not only was it like a massive deal for Nintendo's partnership with Squaresoft, but you're right. PlayStation is a monster of Nintendo's own making, because after that debacle where they abandoned PlayStation literally on the stage with their test unit
with the SNES CD,
like, well, yeah, they're like, well, we have the tech, let's just turn it into a console, and it became the PlayStation. So
yep.
And so FF7 was a turning point for Nintendo. It was a turning point for the series and for pop culture.
Yeah.
To say that this game was bigger than the sum of its parts is an understatement.
Absolutely. Final Fantasy VII changed everything. I mean, it changed what we thought an RPG or a Final Fantasy game could be, because Final Fantasy 2 and 3 were very, very similar. If you just not like necessarily story-wise, but I mean, 3 did innovate on 2. But they look similar, right? All the final, even 1, they all looked very similar. 1 through 6, all looked very similar. Same engine, same idea. And then 7, man, just absolutely. I mean, to just put it as mildly, like it rocked my shit, dude. Like I couldn't believe the game I played. I was so obsessed with it. That was the like every nerd out there, all right, every one of you dorks in the chat right now, you know that like there are games when you were a kid, you would walk down the street and like when you're going home from school or whatever, and a song from the game is playing in your head, and you're seeing yourself in like a third person camera as you're walking just home from school, and you're imagining you're a character in a game, and that's the music that's playing. And Final Fantasy VII was that for me. Final Fantasy VII was like one of the biggest chunks. Oh, dude, Jeebus has become a member now too, man.
Oh, heck yeah. Jeebus is slightly toxic now.
Dude, you're slightly toxic. You're well on your way. All right, let's add that. That's another 5,
Jeebus,
man.
what a baller, dude. What a boss. And speaking of bosses, to build off your story, me and my buddy, his name was Jake, one of my best friends in elementary school.
He became my roommate later, yeah.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Dude, life's weird.
Yeah, it really is.
We carried sticks home from school, and we would get in random encounters going home.
Yeah, me and my friend Terrence, man. He's a guy, if you guys have seen any of my old clips, he was drunk on one of my streams, and I just bitch slapped him right in front of the camera. And that clip is somewhere. But
you got to make a short out of that.
It is. There is a short of it. It's somewhere on my YouTube channel. It's old because it's really old.
In your Discord.
It's like 5 or 6 years old.
Is he gonna quick plug for your upcoming thing you were telling me about? Is he gonna be in your LAN
No,
party
he will not be at the LAN party. He's working out of state. But him and I would do something similar where we made swords out of wood, and we would go out in the woods, and
I remember those.
We would get in random battles. We would pretend like we were in Final Fantasy VII random battles, man.
Well, and really,
Wise did another $1, by the way.
Dude, he's just like dropping drops in the bucket. He's filling up the bucket a drop at a time.
Yeah, dude. He wants to save Cloud, man. I get it.
He has a big heart. Wise.
I get it, man. He does. He really does.
He cares.
You guys are rad, man. Thanks for all the support of this stream. It's been that's been going.
We're almost up to 2 giveaways for Nostalgia Nation later
Yeah, we are.
But,
and I'll have to gift a couple subs over there too.
Like, that's the thing is like Final Fantasy, I think with 7 went from being a niche, like, oh, like for you gamers out there, and within the gaming community, for you RPG players out there, you might want to check out Final Fantasy. That was 2 and 3.
Yes.
But once it hit 7, it went like full Star Wars. Like people on the sidewalk would be like, have you played this new game? Like it made non-gamers. Like it was one of those turning points in culture.
Right. And if you look at it, so Final Fantasy also, I think 7 more than any of the other earlier ones, was the first thing in the West to really start pushing anime culture. Like that whole idea, because people started getting very interested in Japan because of Final Fantasy 7. And which, leads into, you look at anime, you do that kind of thing. And I think it's absolutely bonkers, man, what 7 did. I mean, guys, if everyone in the chat right now, if you've played Final Fantasy VII and it changed your view on the RPG genre, on JRPGs, on gaming in general, in at least some way, shape, or form influenced you in any way as a kid, let's get some big dick ones in the chat, dude. Let's get some ones in the chat.
Drop mine in there.
Drop ones in the chat, man. I'm gonna drop mine in there too. And one's in the chat, man. If Final Fantasy VII was huge, I'm not saying if it was your favorite Final Fantasy ever, but if it changed a bunch, Merc, dude, you're a piece of garbage, man. I'm just kidding, dude. All right.
John in the chat was asking what's wrong with Cloud. What are his ailments? But we'll get to that. We'll get to it soon.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. You just wait. It's a disease that's really hard to cure, and it's infecting everything.
There's very few survivors.
Yeah, so the support's really, really helping, guys. All right,
it is.
Okay, so we've talked about 7 was officially the Final Fantasy that won the West over. that made Final Fantasy a household name in the West. No, you're all good, Jeebus, man. Thanks so much for the support, dude. You've done enough, man. You're rad.
He's like half asleep over there, like, oh, what do I do?
I think he's swiping his credit card over and over and over again.
And thank you, Amy, for summoning him. Amy's his girly pop friend.
Oh, nice. Yeah, thanks, Amy. Sarah says not 7, but the DS version of 3 and 4 are inspiring. And that's the thing, Sarah. I've told you.
So good.
Sarah hasn't played 7 though, so she's got to play 7. Yeah, she's got to play 7.
Exciting.
Yeah, I wish I could play 7 for the first time again, and not 7 remake and rebirth. We'll get to that later though. Okay.
Yeah.
But
I have my physical copies of DS FF3 and 4 right outside my door.
And nice. So let's move on a little bit to Final Fantasy 8 and 9. 8 was the first controversial Final Fantasy, right? What I mean by that is 8 is the first Final Fantasy where a portion of the player base loved it and a portion of them absolutely hated it. I mean, and it's hard to follow up with an act like Final Fantasy 7. And everybody's expectations after 7 were like, dude, what's next? You know,
that's the best way I've heard it is somebody said FF8's greatest sin is not being FF7. And it's true.
It's coming after 7. You can't, I mean, think about it. What if, now I don't, like, again, everybody knows if you've been watching me at all, shut up, Adrian. If you've been watching me at all, Final Fantasy 8 is not my least favorite Final Fantasy. We'll get to that later. It's my least favorite out of all the ones I consider real Final Fantasy games, just 1 through 10.
Yeah.
Dude, another $50.
Holy
bro.
Freak, dude.
Let's go.
Dude,
Jeebus, wake up, man.
Dude,
I think he's sleepwalking.
You're insane, dude.
He's gonna wake up and be like checking his statements, like, wait, what did I do?
What did I spend this money on? Some dorks on the internet. Thanks, man. What a Chad.
Dude, Jeebus. What a freaking goat. I told you.
Final Fantasy 8 has Quistas, so yeah. Oh my god.
You know, that's a good point.
Quistas simp.
Like
Quistas simp.
The Emperor's New Groove meme where it's like, no, you got a point. You got a good point.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Final Fantasy 8 had better visuals. Of course it had than 7. Of course it had a baller soundtrack. I just don't like the most of the characters, and I think the story sucks. But this video is not about is 8 good, right? I'm just saying, like,
right.
8 went on, and then we had Final Fantasy, and so I would say 8 was overall for the series was a step backwards. If you're looking at what 7 did for the franchise and got people into it, 8 probably potentially, at least to some people, made them go, oh, maybe 7 was
the peak,
a one-hit wonder or a peak, right?
Well, and what's interesting, because I won't dwell on 8 a long time either, because we've talked extensively about this. I've got a 40-minute video defending Final Fantasy 8 on my channel.
I know you do, and I watched it.
Is regardless of like the technicalities of how good or bad it is, that is the age. That was when I hit the age where I broke off from you and our other brother, and I had my own PlayStation at that point.
Yeah,
and that was the first game.
The tiny PS1, right?
Mine.
Yeah.
And that's the magic thing, whether we're talking about 7, 8, 9, whatever, even 10 for some people. Whatever your entry was, if it was in that what we call the golden era, which is arguably between FF4 and maybe 10,
yeah,
like it was life changing. It doesn't matter which entry it was.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
I'd agree with that statement. Because then we go right after 8 into Final Fantasy 9, and here's the thing:
my favorite game of all.
Because of how disappointed I was in 8, my expectations for 9 were not high. And when 9 came out, I was because especially the art style was totally not what I was into, right? But then when I actually played 9, I was absolutely blown away. 9 is my second favorite numbered Final Fantasy game. Like it was.
Is it after 7?
Yeah, after 7, yeah. Final Fantasy 9 is so good. The music is peak. All the characters are amazing. They did a night. They brought a lot back from like 6 and like 4. Like a lot of the game systems remind me of Final Fantasy 4 and Final Fantasy 6, but they had their own take on it. And I know 9
Yeah.
is your favorite numbered Final Fantasy game. And do you want to go a little bit about what made 9 so peak for you?
Yeah, for sure. So again, I swear I'm not trying to plug my channel, but like so much. But there's a video I made
No,
just on
plug
this
away,
topic.
man.
So Final Fantasy 9, and I won't go into super depth, but there's 3 layers to it for me personally, of why it's so personally meaningful to me. But as far as the technical side goes, this is the last Final Fantasy before. Technically, it was the last one being developed before the turn of the millennium. So
It was
that
the
kind of
last
made it
one
a
that wasn't
different.
voice acted, too.
Last one that wasn't voice acted, so you could say it was the last truly traditional Final Fantasy,
True.
and it was the last one that Hironobu Sakaguchi, the creator of Final Fantasy, personally oversaw before he turned the torch over to other people, for better or worse. I would say for worse, but
Oh,
that
for
was the
worse, for
last one
sure,
that
for
he was
sure.
directly involved with.
Yeah. It's true, and it shows because then we have Final Fantasy X, and Merc said something about 10. 10 sold me on the PS2. I think a lot of people bought PS2 for 10 the same way they bought 7 for Final Fantasy Tactics and Final Fantasy 7, which I do want to
Yeah.
just put in here. For those of you who don't know, my favorite Final Fantasy game of all time is Final Fantasy Tactics. I think it has the best story. I think it has a lot of amazing characters both, and it's very relevant. Its story is very relevant in today's world if you look at what's going on in society.
That's true.
And Tactics, just if you didn't know, if you haven't seen it, I know me and Imaginator both streamed it, but the Evil East Chronicles, which was very well done, S tier voice acting. If you haven't played Final Fantasy Tactics, get it on Steam. Get the Evil East Chronicles. It's totally worth it. It's such a good game. But see, it just goes. Square was still cooking around that same time because all in this small window. Yeah. So from 1997 until when did the PS2 come out? In 2002.
2000. So the crazy thing, and most people forget this, and I forgot it myself until I was reading up on this a little bit before we chatted. Final Fantasy 9 came out after the PS2 was already out.
That's true.
Final Fantasy 9 hit in 2000. 10 came out in 2001.
True. So
1 year later.
So, but that's what I'm saying. In a 5-year period, Square released, or say SquareSoft, we're going to be specific, Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy Tactics, Final Fantasy 8, Final Fantasy 9, and Final Fantasy 10 in a 5-year period. Almost 6.
It's insane.
But a lot of people went.
True?
Yeah, a lot of people went to Final Fantasy, to the PlayStation 2 over the Xbox 360 and over the GameCube because of Final Fantasy was staying on Sony PlayStation. So everyone went over. And I saw an interview later on with some of the developers of Final Fantasy X. And they said that Final Fantasy X, at the time, Square thought they could do no wrong. They were like, we're ahead of everybody in this genre. No one can touch us. And they even openly admitted we got a little greedy and we focused too much on the visuals and not enough on the story. However, I still barely, despite barely by the skin of its nuts, do I consider Final Fantasy X part of the golden era, part of
I agree.
An OG Final Fantasy, because it still
the
had
only reason I rope it
turn-based.
into that is because it still had turn-based battles.
Mm-hmm. It was still turn-based. Its soundtrack was still amazing. I really actually liked Final Fantasy X's the skill tree system that was very much like an ARPG.
The sphere grid.
Yeah, the sphere grid was really cool.
And honestly, most of the characters were really great, and the story was actually pretty great. It was just a few of the characters that got in the way for me.
I think one of the biggest things, I think one of the biggest things that would have made Final Fantasy X go from a B tier game to an A tier or maybe even an S is if it had a completely different protagonist.
Yeah,
like that would be. Everything else is fine. The antagonist is fine. All the supporting characters were fine.
Yep.
But we also started to see some Nomura bleeding into 10.
Yes, now we get the shift for Nomura. Because the funny thing about this, and I won't go too much into it at this point, unless you want us to, but at this point,
we're going to talk about Nomura.
had only really been behind the art direction for like 7, 8, Not even 9. It really just was 7 and 8. And if you look at his original sketches from
Mhm.
like 7, for example, which ended up being like the character portraits, they're really sick. They're
Oh, and
super
you're
cool.
right. You're right. And here's what we're going to get into where Final Fantasy started to fall apart. During the golden era. So let's cut out 10 a bit. 2, Final Fantasy 1 through 9. Nomura still had his reins on. He was still being put in his place by Sakaguchi and by others. Square hadn't shifted to Final Fantasies is a cinematic. It's a cinematic experience. They haven't shifted to that yet. They were still, it's a game first. I'm sure Nomura still had absolutely retarded, brain dead, over the top, dumb ideas during this time period, but the people above him said, no, that's not what we're going for. Stay in your lane. And he had to, or he'd lose his job. And I think that's, and then 10, as we saw Sakaguchi leave, Spirits Within, the movie, bombed, cost them everything.
Man, Spirits Within.
Forced them to merge with Enix because of how much money they lost from it. And
which is so ironic because Enix was the Dragon Quest guys. That was their direct competitor.
Yep. And so I think that was ultimately what happened there. This was the beginning of the end for Final Fantasy. We just didn't see it because also the CEO of Square, now the new Square Enix, openly stated he was focused on Final Fantasy being a cinematic experience. And that's the direction games are going now. They're cinema, they're movies. They're not games first. And it's very clear that was the direction they were going to go. Because then the next game we had, no one saw coming, which was Final Fantasy 11. And
now you're an MMO guy.
I am an MMO guy.
Like, did you play 11?
I played 11 a lot because remember 11 came out before World of Warcraft. So Final Fantasy 11, when we first saw that Square Enix was making Final Fantasy an MMORPG, everyone's first thought was, oh, how would it work being in an MMO and having a party and having it be turn-based? That would be so cool. Like you wait for your teammate to take his turn, and that's what we thought it was going to be, but it wasn't like that at all. It was like a hybrid of EverQuest and its own thing. It was very brutal. It was very hard and unforgiving. And it was barely a Final Fantasy. It was Final Fantasy in name only, really. And so that's why I never include it in the numbered series. What are your... You didn't play 11 at all, did you?
I've never touched 11, but I remember even... do you know what year 11 came out?
2001, I think. I think it was one of the launch titles. Right. It was one of the launch titles for the PS2.
And that's the crazy thing is because when I lived in Japan, it was early 2000s. I remember people playing 11 a lot. And of course, the PS2 had that giant hard drive port that we never got. We never got the.
You
PS2
had to have that
States,
and the network adapter to even play Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
11. Yeah.
Early days of online console gaming, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I never played it. Still to this day, never touched it.
And a lot of people, and I think it had it had a positive impact on the MMO audience, but I think it had a negative impact on the Final Fantasy purists because it was so far away from anything that Square had done with the franchise up to this point. Because this was also when games releases, like the release for Final Fantasy was slowing down. Because we saw during that 5-year period, we got like bunch back to back to back. But an MMO is such a huge endeavor. It came out in 2001, and then we didn't see Final Fantasy 12 for a while after it. So people were pissed about 11, the next Final Fantasy entry, being an MMO, and half of Square's audience had no interest in playing an MMO.
Yeah. Well, and this might be a good minute for me to pop in with one thought. I kind of had an epiphany the other day as I was thinking about this discussion coming up. And what's crazy to me, because we talk about Final Fantasy nowadays having an identity crisis, right? Like that, I think at its heart, that's the main problem, which we'll get into in a minute. But as far as Final Fantasy having an identity crisis, I was thinking about it and I was thinking, okay, if Raziel and I, generally speaking, consider Final Fantasy 4 through, we'll just even give it 10, right? That's like 7 games or so that we consider like our true golden era Final Fantasies. Final Fantasy 16 is out and done, and we're going on 17. We're pretty much at 50-50 as far as the ratio goes between old Final Fantasy and new Final Fantasy.
True.
And that blew my mind because I think the main problem is even if Square Enix today were to commit, they were to get like fix their retarded brain and be like, we're going back to old school, whatever. They commit to something, they commit to one identity. It would still take 3, 4, 5, 6 years of consistently sticking with that commitment and that target to win a brand back. Because right now, after 10, you had an MMO with 11, then you had a single player MMO with 12, then you had a sidewalk or what you call hallway simulator with 13, then you had another MMO.
13 was so
then you had
bad.
An open world game, and then you had an action RPG. So like every single entry, it was a different genre.
It really was.
Not just a different like game. It was a different genre. So the fans were like,
well, here's what it is.
win.
You're 100% right, and it's them all. Final Fantasy 11 through 16 is Square Enix throwing darts at a board and hoping something sticks. Because again, Sakaguchi is gone at this point.
Long gone.
Yeah, he's long gone. He was, he got burned out. All the corporatism, all the bullshit that was constantly happening at Square, all the internal fights, right? Square was too big now. And it goes to, because now we're getting into why Final Fantasy sucks now. And the thing is I've said this a million times about a million different game companies, and it's true. It's so true, especially with Square. Companies do not make video games. People make video games. When the people leave, you drive them out, burn them out, DEI them out, whatever it may be. The company that's left is just wearing a skin suit. It's not. That's why all the games suck, because the masterminds behind what made Final Fantasy so good were gone. Same things have happened at multiple companies in the gaming industry. I think the gaming industry is one of the worst off industries in this regard. We've lost so many good products. People are like, why can't Square just do what they used to do? It's like, well, because the people that know how to do that are gone. They're not there. Yeah. And so what's happening is now, instead of making games that they know their audience wants to play, they're making games for their shareholders. They're making games to appease checkboxes, lists of what needs to be in a game, the same way Hollywood is doing with their media.
Yeah.
So my next thought to you, then, to pass over to you, Imaginator, is what do you think made the classic games, the ones we view as classic Final Fantasy? And the chat, you're open to answer this as well. Let's get your input on this too. What is it about the classics that made them so special? Outside of just nostalgia glasses, hey, it was my first game, like, because a lot of people's first games, even if they're not Final Fantasy, they say it's their favorite. A lot of those games suck. They just have their nostalgia glasses on. So what made Final Fantasy so special? Those rose-tinted
glasses, those are thick lenses. I'm not going to lie. But to me, and by the way, Adrian in the chat a little while ago said Sakaguchi makes one mistake and he gets forced out, talking about Spirits Within, and it's true. But Adrian also called out Final Fantasy 12 has the goated side quest about Captain Bosch. I am Captain Bosch von Ronsenberg of Dalmasca, which is true. That is the best. That's the goated side quest. But I think, for me, and once I really forced those rose-tinted glasses off, Final Fantasy 16 is a great example to stack it up against, because Final Fantasy 16 took away all the things that answer your question. Menus, I know that sounds silly, but like menu navigation and equipment management and party management, those are some of the most magical things about JRPGs. Totally gone in 16. turn-based battles, obviously, that's the one a lot of people go to.
Which
But
you remember
aside
how
from
Square
that,
said no one wants turn-based games anymore, and then Claire Expedition 33 comes out and totally
literally
takes
sets
every
world record.
award, and this literally says, "Oh, we were inspired by Sakaguchi and the original Final Fantasies, and Final Fantasy. You know, they're inside. They're going, how do we copy it? How do we copy this?" Guys, like, what are you talking about? They copied us just 20 years ago. Just do what you did 20
Right?
years ago, you jackasses.
Go dig in the vault, see if we have those blueprints around
Yeah,
here somewhere. I
yeah.
know we used to do this. But the last thing I'll mention too, so you got turn-based battles, party management, menu management, equipment management. Obviously, they used to tell good stories back then as well. But as strange as it is, world maps disappeared after 9, even 10, which we kind of talked
And
about.
Claire
we sort
brought
of
him
consider to
back.
be a
Claire
classic.
Expedition 33 brought him back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Sakaguchi is quoted. In fact, he did an interview leading up to Final Fantasy VIII after 7, and they said, "Is 8 going to have a world map?" And he said, he's famous to say, his quote was something like, "Well, of course 8's going to have a world map. If it doesn't, it's not a Final Fantasy."
Yeah.
That's the creator of Final Fantasy that said that. So 10, even though I do kind of consider it part of that golden era, did not have a world map. So
True.
things were already changing.
They're already following.
So
I mean,
hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, it does. And Adrian made a good point because I asked the question to the audience as well. And Adrian says, "Good writing that respects its audience. The recent remake games felt Disneyfied. Look how they neutered Sid and Dyne. Yep. 16 was trying to pander on wrong audience with being edgy." And that's the thing, is wrong audience is very true. If you look at, for example, Final Fantasy, they can't even do anything. Square Enix couldn't even do anything right in the genre that they knew what they were doing or they were attempting. So, like, if you look at Final Fantasy 14, 1.0 was a disaster. It was an absolute piece of dog shit. And in 1.0, they couldn't even get what people wanted out of an MMO. Because generally in an MMO, people like to log in and kind of no life them, right? They kind of like go for hours and hours and hours and hours and get stronger and stronger and find new things. In Final Fantasy 14 1.0, they literally had a system in the game that prevented you from earning too much experience.
What?
And the game was so poorly optimized, the PS2 and even the PS3 when it was ported couldn't run it properly because they put too many polygons in every single item in the game. All the shrubbery, everything. So it ran like garbage even on like top end PCs, right? It was so bad that, and I'll give Square some credit here. They realized the game was so bad that they stopped the subscription for it, so you don't have to pay anymore. They fired everyone who designed it and was on the team, rehired in a whole new team, and said, we're going to take this game, and while you guys are playing for free this piece of shit, we're going to build up a new version of it and call it A Realm Reborn. And they only gave the guy Yoshi P, which he's not a good game designer, he's a very good politician, and he's very good at stealing ideas. But he turned 14 into 2.0, and it happened to come out right at a time when World of Warcraft was at a downturn. World of Warcraft was at an all-time low. And so it hit huge. The servers were overloaded, and Final Fantasy 14 2.0 was like, oh, it's saved. The franchise is saved. You know, everything's fixed, and it was a good game. It was okay. Like, and the first expansion, Heaven's Word, was good. And then once they ran out of ideas and WoW started climbing back up because WoW fixed its mistakes, right? All of a sudden, Yoshi P just started stealing, not just lifting ideas, but characters, plot lines, music from the golden era Final Fantasy games and putting them in Final Fantasy 14. And
Genius.
now he's running out of those. And people were starting to get pissed. They were like, hey man, I played Final Fantasy 4 already. Like, have an original idea in your game that I'm paying for. And so he's like, okay, yeah. So they did their latest expansion, Dawn Trail, and it's awful. It had, because they didn't steal, they stole some stuff from Final Fantasy 9, but ultimately a lot of the characters are original, right? And they're woke and they're bad and they suck, and everyone just took a fat hot dump on this expansion, the worst rated Final Fantasy 14 expansion ever. So even
I
then,
didn't know that was what the fall from grace looked like.
it
Really,
was so bad. Sarah says only credit I give to Final Fantasy 14 1.0 is magic was effective or less based on the weather. That is a cool mechanic. That is a
really,
cool
I didn't know
mechanic.
that.
Yeah. So then after that, we had Final Fantasy 15, which by the way wasn't supposed to be a Final Fantasy game. It was supposed to
Final
be
Fantasy versus 13.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Final Fantasy versus 13. That thing had the most development hell of any Final Fantasy game.
And by the way, just from the title, you know Nomura's involved when you got a title like Final Fantasy versus 13.
Like, it
Dream
makes
drop
so
distance,
nonsensical.
3.5 Kingdom Hearts.
I don't understand why they didn't just leave him in the dumpster with the Kingdom Hearts games and just left him there. But
yeah,
But anyway,
agreed.
So everything started going down. We can find a clear focal point of when things started to turn south, and that's Sakaguchi's exit. That's when everything changed.
The FF10 era.
Yeah. So Sakaguchi, like it or hate it, is Final Fantasy.
He is. It's the same as when George Lucas sold Star Wars to Disney.
George Lucas sucked too, but he was like way better than what Disney does.
Yeah, that's a low bar.
So what does that mean when a big baller like Sakaguchi leaves? Well, I'll let you answer too. In my opinion, what it means is people that are not qualified have to fill his shoes. People that had bad ideas that got shut down by Sakaguchi now could push their ideas through. What are your thoughts on that?
I think you're spot on, and I also think that it is a passing of a torch from one creator to the next, but it's also passing a torch in Sakaguchi's case, and especially now, jumping a little bit ahead into the future, now that Nomura and Kitase and all them are getting old too, you pass it to a new generation who didn't grow up with Final Fantasy 6 or OG 7, right?
True. And a lot of wokies.
They started with 10. Their nostalgia game is 10 and 11 and 12.
They are like, oh, these are great, but they were the crappy games. Let's real quick. Let's catch up on chat here a bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Miss Nightmare's talking about food poisoning. All right, that's not relevant to what we're talking about, but I hope you get better. Versus 13, Nomura and his terrible lingo. True. What are the number 13? What the number 13 versus Final Fantasy? Well, they had Final Fantasy 13, then they had Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns, and then they had, I don't know what Square went on this rampage of sequels, like Final Fantasy 10 too, and like, I don't even, like, it gives me cancer thinking about it.
Well, and it's totally like Disney sequel vibes.
Thanks for the boobs,
it's like Lion King 3, where it's like their grandchildren now, and it's like
straight to VHS, because we know it's terrible. So
exactly, it's straight to VHS situation. Like, 10-2 took the admittedly touching ending, like
and ruined it. They ruined it. They ruined it. They ruined the ending.
It was a good ending. It was a good story, and they took it and they ruined it.
Yeah,
and then there were 3 more after it.
It's so cancer. Sarah says Dawn Trail added way more Final Fantasy 9 in post patches, but the homage, not a great homage to it. I'm not surprised.
Hey, Nostalgia Knickknack's in the chat.
What's up, Nostalgia Knickknack? Purple Rocks Army. Nostalgia aside, Final Fantasy 7 is so awesome because it's playable for so long and even replayable more than most of the games. True. It's the only game I've beaten 3 times and would play again. 7 for that for me is I beat it. I beat it every 2 or 3 years, so I feel you on that.
Yep.
Sandfall should inherit the torch. I agree. I think Sandfall should just make another Clair Obscure game, get really big, make a ton of money, and just buy Final Fantasy rights from Square. Just buy it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine how amazing that would be? Get it out of Nomura's hands.
Force shoving machines and tech into the whimsical style of Final Fantasy 9 is awful. Yeah, that sounds like a disease. I just no. You have to apologize, Nightmare. You know you're in my stream. You know you lurk. I'm always gonna just talk shit about people. Final Fantasy X was the last great Final Fantasy title, hands down. We agreed with that earlier in the stream. Gay Box renamed to Pujit Box.
Things were kind of changing already, but yeah.
Do not redeem. Gay Box renamed to Pujit Box. SAR, do not redeem. I don't understand. Never liked Lightning as a character. Now, 13 was one of the most forgettable games of all time.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a migraine trying to understand.
I think 13 is where the term hallway simulator originated from.
True. Well, and he Jason says he said, but how the hell would Squaresoft give it up? I mean, John said that. John Shepard said that. How the hell would Squaresoft give it up? Money. That's all they care about. They would if it bought them. Do you realize how close Squaresoft has been to bankruptcy for the last 10 years? They're barely squeezing by.
Well,
Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 15, 16, 7 Remake, and 7 Rebirth are the worst selling titles of all time.
And the most expensive.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say what you were saying before with when we were talking about sort of the origins of Final Fantasy. They were Rad Racer developer, and they were going bankrupt, and they made Final Fantasy. Passion was there, and necessity was there, and people that, I mean, their hearts were in it. And this is the natural progression of any business, of any product, of anything that becomes successful, even celebrities, people. You rise up with passion because you have to. And then once you get to a certain point, your passion isn't required anymore. You can just ride on money, and then you stop caring and you stop trying.
Yes.
And then you get this downward slope that they've been
a
on
lot
for
of
10 years.
companies have fallen into this trap. Again, they make games for shareholders. They go, what according to this spreadsheet formula will make us the most money? And then that's what they do. And it's funny because it never turns out that way. Let's see. Pooping says, would you play a remaster of 14, but everyone's gay? It already exists. It's called Final Fantasy 14. I burned a franchise down with my freaking mind. Nomura, dude, we're going to get into Nomura here soon, okay? I'm just catching up on chat here. Final Fantasy 14 mobile isn't doing good. No, I saw that. I saw it's falling apart. Let's see. They should make a new series called Frinail Flantizzy. Oh, 4 on 6. You're gonna give me a brain tumor. Okay.
You'll end up looking like Cloud.
Yeah, I'll be the one with the disease. Okay, so the golden era is over, and it's because Sakaguchi left. All the great minds that created Final Fantasy are long gone. The company's been taken over by, and to Square's credit, because of the big fallout, Square's, I don't know if you knew this, Imaginator, but Square laid off a ton of Western developers. Like most of their Western studios are gone.
That was like last year, right?
End of last year.
End of last year, yeah.
They fired everybody because all the wokies making bad decisions that ruined the games there. Because they influenced some of the design. And because they don't want to go bankrupt. They have to save money. So they cut all these studios in the West. A lot of Japanese studios are doing this now. They're going back to just having their base and all development done in Japan.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. I think coming to the West with the studio, I mean, actually coming to the West with the studio was what ultimately killed Sega. So it's always a bad idea. Let me get into the next thing here that we have points to hit. You can go over if you have anything else you want to throw in up to this point.
I thought I had a thought a second ago, but I think it's about Nomura, so I'll hold off on that.
Okay. Okay.
I love how we're saving that as like the Hail Mary, like
yep.
the big games.
Okay, so oh man.
Where do you even start with that?
What do you think of fan service being put into games? Fan service means several different things, because fan service when you're talking about anime means showing lots of butts and boobs and as much sexual stuff as you can for all the gooners that watch the anime. What do you think fan service is in the Final Fantasy series?
Honestly, I mean, let's be real. I love some of that stuff as much as the next guy, right?
Like nostalgia bait, yeah.
Or nostalgia bait, or even the
or
TNA,
big titties.
Like, I'm a human, I'm a guy. Like sure. But there's a time and there's a place, and I think really, once you get to like Lulu in Final Fantasy X or Fran in Final Fantasy 12, literally a stripper bunny, like I think what the damage does.
Oh, dude, you're talking shit on Lulu, man. This chat's gonna light you up, dude. All these gooners, all these gooners, pooping's loading his gun right now. Yeah, he's mad.
And listen, again, I'm a dude. Sure, I like that stuff, but what it does is I can't take the story seriously anymore. And that's I can't remember who said it, but somebody said it a while ago, and I was like, I like that. They said Final Fantasy needs to have creators that take the story seriously again. You can't imagine a character like Lulu, as much as I love her, in Final Fantasy IV with Dark Knight Cecil, right?
No,
Like it just doesn't make sense.
no. Which, by the
And
way,
I think,
Cecil is base. He's the best. He's the best protagonist.
oh, dude, literally, I'm evil and I have to repent and become a Christian. That's Final Fantasy IV's story.
Yeah, for real, for real.
It's so based. But like, I think more than anything, the fan service came out of the weeb culture, which you said evolved from video games, which it did over the last 20 years or so. And from there, it's poisoned the well to where, like,
Put
sure,
Lulu's
it's like,
boobs on
visually it's
Titus.
fine,
Sorry.
right?
Yeah.
I just can't take the game seriously anymore.
No,
It
I agree.
makes a mockery of a serious story.
I agree. I think you have to know what tone your game is supposed to set, and you stick with it, and nothing goes too far outside of the ring, right? Like it's fine to have a little whimsical moment here and there, but
Sure,
like if
you have to really.
but if you have to pull out like this gooner bait and something that's supposed to be super serious, it just doesn't work. And I think we talked about 7 kind of bringing anime into the forefront. I think now the blend between Final Fantasy, and this is especially visible in Final Fantasy 15, Final Fantasy 14, and I would even argue Final Fantasy 13, is the blend of game and anime is too much. It's too thick now.
Yeah. It's what turned me off. It's a total tangent, but it's what turned me off to the Xenoblade Chronicles series. The first one is so amazing, and then it just went full anime, and I was like, I'm out.
Yeah, like I don't get me wrong. I love anime, man. I watch One Punch Man. I watch Solo Leveling and all these awesome anime. But keep that weeb shit out of my Final Fantasy games. You know, like I can only tolerate so much, and then my suspension of disbelief, I can't maintain it anymore.
Exactly. And by the way, Tifa is best girl. It's not open for discussion.
I mean, she's definitely got the biggest boobs, even if they're only 3 polygons each.
But she can cook. She can fight. She's the whole package, man.
True. That makes me wonder. Everybody asks this, so I'll just ask it now. Are people in chat a Tifa fan or an Aerith fan?
Aerith can go die, which she did actually.
She did, yeah. Spoiler. Until you get to the next Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yeah, that's true. In remake, she'll be back somehow.
She'll be like summoning ghost magic and all right. Yeah. I've never say 7, but I thought Aerith was lovely. She is a lovely character, even though they ruin her in Final Fantasy VII remake. And we're gonna get to remake, guys, because it ties into Nomura. One thing I want to talk about before we move on to Nomura, because I think that should be the next topic is Nomura.
Yeah,
it's Final Fantasy. I want to spend a few minutes on Final Fantasy 16.
Oh boy, can I just leave for a few minutes more until you're done?
Sure. Final Fantasy 16. What's the best way I can describe this game? Final Fantasy 16 was a bag of spoiled ass, and then someone threw up in it, and then someone put your laundry in that bag, and then instead of doing the laundry with water to clean it all, they used piss. Final Fantasy 16 was such a bait and switch. Final Fantasy 16 was Final Fantasy 15, the Temu version. Okay, so here's why 16 was so bad.
DJ Pooping says Final Fantasy 16 is like buying great value bread from Walmart.
True. So Final Fantasy 16. First, they baited us. They baited us really hard because they touted, hey, guess who's on this project? Yoshi P. We didn't know yet at this point when announced that Yoshi P is actually a fraud. Then they also said, hey, guess who else is on this team? Some of the people that were involved with Final Fantasy Tactics development. Then they went in to show you a bunch of clips of really medieval cool stuff. And blood and violence and that old Final Fantasy feel, and everyone was like, dude, let's go. This is it. Final Fantasy is so back. And then we got it. And what's missing from Final Fantasy 16, Imaginator? Tell me what's missing, and I'll tell you what's not missing.
What's missing from Final Fantasy 16 is Final Fantasy.
100%.
Parties,
Yep.
equipment, which they tacked on a shallow equipment system just to say it's an RPG.
Yep.
But party management,
Any
multiple
stats
characters,
or RPG elements. Yep.
right? Right.
World map.
Obviously, world map.
A
I mean,
diverse soundtrack. Literally, I can't think of a
yeah.
single song in that game.
Yeah, and you know what? The character designs themselves, like they're kind of cool, but they're very bland. Like I
Yeah.
remember just the color gray when I think about the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very. It felt like you were always watching the game through like a crappy filter or a window screen. Like you were looking through a window screen at the game.
That's a good way to put it.
And the thing is with Final Fantasy 16, right? What is a video game? A video game is a visual entertainment medium. Every major plot point in Final Fantasy 16 is told to you. It's not shown to you. So all the exposition's dumped on you at very inconvenient parts of the game. The entire romantic relationship between Clive and, I don't remember her name because it's so forgettable.
Julia,
something like that. Remember. Yeah. Them falling in love happens off. Oh, literally, it goes. They're just friends, and then you get literally a screen that pops up that says 5 years later, and then now they're a couple.
Time jump. And compare that with like Zidane and Dagger's relationship in Final Fantasy 9, or Cloud and Tifa's childhood relationship. It's.
I mean, the best romantic relationship in any Final Fantasy game is Dagger and Zidane, without a doubt.
And which culminates in one of the best endings in a Final Fantasy.
I agree. Eagle says, guys, which Final Fantasy game should I play as my first? I would say, man, that's hard. Do you care about graphics? If you don't care about, like, if graphics aren't a turnoff, I would say start with Final Fantasy 4. If they're not a turnoff. Start with Final Fantasy 4. Yeah. If you want something more updated first, do 7.
Play the DS remake of 4, because that's the same game, but it's
or the Pixel remaster of 4 on Steam.
Yeah.
I would say though, do 4, do 4, 6, Jill. That's right. 4, 6, 7. You can skip 8, and then do 9. All right, let's catch up. Yeah. Let's catch up on chat before we continue. Destroying Final Fantasy 16. For a game that prides itself on story, it had a lot of plot holes. I mean, it barely had a plot to have holes, but I agree. Yeah.
Why do you need plot when you have cinematics of summons fighting each other?
Exactly. And we'll get into that. I got Final Fantasy 16, haven't played it yet. Jeebus, what you need to do with that is you take 16 and you just shoot it with a firearm in your backyard. And record
the disc
that.
Makes a really nice like coaster.
Yeah, and record you shooting it and put that on YouTube, and you'll get some of your money back. Let's see. We need to love females more because I don't want Orgrimmar ogres in my games. That's so random. Pooping. What are you talking about? What shade of gray and how many was there? 50. I can't even remember who the antagonist of 16 was. I don't either, man. Every female in a game in 2026 is brolic with Mr. T muscles. Facts. I like Locke and Celeste. I think that's a good romantic relationship too. It's just not as deep as the main protagonist in 9. It just doesn't go as far.
And that's more of a
thanks, Eagleman.
A product of the times, when FF6 was out. Like the story was still becoming a thing in games, but Celeste and Locke's story is amazing.
It was great. Especially since they're both there's no real main protagonist in 6, and everyone's a side character. Yeah, it was. You
can see
really
more
well.
of that subplot tonight on my stream. We're playing
nice,
right
nice. Yeah, make sure you guys tune in after the stream to Imaginator stream. We're all gaslit into thinking remake, rebirth. Oh, we're gonna get to remake and rebirth real soon. Real soon. It's coming up. Squaresoft had a kind of similar problem to Blizzard, where they started to think that people bought their games for cinematics and didn't have an invest story. Yeah, that's a perfect stepping stone 4 on 6 to what I was about to say, which is. There was a man named George Lucas. I don't know if you know who he is, but he said one of the biggest problems with Hollywood, and this was back in the 80s, is he said people need to use special effects to help tell a story. But now people are using a story to help tell special effects. And that's 100% true. Final Fantasy 16 is the Michael Bay video game. It was what crap, boring, mindless drivel can we slap together so we can hurry and rush you to this next amazing cutscene with this rock music and explosions playing. And the thing is because the story's so weak and sets up no stakes, Doesn't matter how cool the cutscene is. You don't care. You don't care about any of the characters in the cutscene. Take a good example. We're going to go back to Clair Obscure Expedition 33. In the first 30 minutes of the game, all you've done at this point is 2 or 3 tutorial fights. You really don't know the characters. And in the first 30 minutes, a character dies. And I almost started crying. Dude, Jeebus, another $5, man.
See you later.
$5,
going to play
dude.
Some FF16 Lamau.
Yeah,
Rolling
you're
on the floor laughing emoji.
lol.
He's gonna go play
JK.
FF16.
Yeah. Yeah, my ass, you're going to play that game.
But speaking of which, you guys pushed Cloud's donation fund over the $200 mark, and
You did. We're at
that means we're up to
206.
2 giveaways on my stream later tonight.
Yeah,
giveaways.
good job, guys. Hell yeah, thanks for the support. So yeah, Final Fantasy 16, man. I mean, what else
It's
can
a
you
gorgeous
say?
game.
It looks
beautiful.
beautiful, but it's as dull as dishwater. It's not even like, even if it didn't have the name Final Fantasy and it was just its own RPG and I played it, I would give it a C+ at best.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So, next on the list, and I'm going to let you start off with this, Imaginator.
Okay.
We're going to talk about Nomura, Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth. Go.
Okay. And I know you're having me go first because I know you need to take a couple deep breaths
Yeah.
and you need to stretch a little bit and get ready for this. So I will say, I've known Raziel for a long time, and I'm going to put some words in his mouth. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. Final Fantasy VII Remake was the highest high and the lowest lows a guy could get, because favorite game ever, looking amazing. You mentioned bait and switch before with Final Fantasy 16, and that is exactly what Final Fantasy 7 Remake was. I have a whole video about this as well. So I'm an author, I'm a storyteller, I've done it professionally. I'm a game writer right now for my profession. Characters and plot matter more than anything else. And what you promise your audience your product is going to be is very important, and you need to stick to it. When you say we're making a Final Fantasy VII remake, what do you expect? A remake of that game I played called Final Fantasy VII, and that's not what Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy is. I will also say as a caveat that Final Fantasy VII, while it is, I'd consider one of my favorite games of all time, it's one of the best games of all time. I am not as immediately attached to it as Raziel is. This is Final Fantasy VII is Raziel's Final Fantasy 9 for me. Like FF9 to me is,
and
FF7
9's really
to
close
Raziel.
to 7 for me. It's really close, but 7 takes the cake.
So I can imagine, like, so I hate the changes as much as anybody else, and I have a love-hate relationship with the 7 remake trilogy, but I think I was able to enjoy it way more than you could, just because those rose-tinted glasses, I have like 1.0 readers and you have like aviator goggles. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. And the thing is too, I know the game inside and out so well. Like I have every second of Final Fantasy VII memorized.
And those initial trailers, at the initial reveal of 7 Remake, and even all the way up pretty close to launch, it was like, this looks so unbelievably,
and you're right,
good. And then the bombing mission demo came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, they actually did it. This is going to be
it was a true recreation of it.
I was like, this I can't believe what I'm playing right now. And then we got the full game, and the rest is history.
Yeah, so here's exactly. And thanks for that intro. You're 100% spot on. I don't disagree with anything you said. Final Fantasy VII Remake raped my childhood. This is what happened. Okay. They advertised, hey guys, they first showed us a hint of 7 Remake on the PlayStation 3 with that demo. They hinted that they had it at least in the back of their brains as something they may do. Then when we finally got confirmation that Final Fantasy VII was being remade, and they this is what they told us, guys, and you'll remember, you can go back and look at the old announcements and footage. They said they were going to
E3 2015.
They were going to expand on features on the materia system and make it a little more innovative. Okay, fine. They said they were shifting they said it initially you could choose between turn-based or action. You had a choice.
That's right.
They also said that minor characters were going to get deeper stories. They're going to change the stories. They're just going to give you more information about characters. So who is characters like that? Biggs, Sid, Jesse, Wedge, stuff like that. Then, so we were all pumped, and they were showing us, like, there were leaks, right, and everything. Then they showed us the trailer for the bombing mission. Everyone was psyched. I was pissing in my pants. Then they gave us the demo. And I played it, and it was a perfect dream recreation.
I couldn't believe
what we wanted. Like, this is it. This is it, boys. They did it. And the thing is, you can go back on my YouTube channel. I made a video when I completed the demo.
I remember this.
And I loved it. I was talking about, dude, we're so back. A couple months later, I make my review of 7 Remake. I hated it. Absolutely hate it. Because literally where Final Fantasy OG Final Fantasy 7 ends and Remake or whatever the atrocity it is begins is at the end of the bombing mission. Nothing after that is over. Is the same as OG. Everything changed. I knew, and pardon my French, but I knew, man, the second I saw the ghosts when you meet Aerith for the first time,
ghosts.
I was like, dude, we are fucked. This is like it's over. And like right after you escape from the bombing mission and everything, like you jump out of the explosion, and Sephiroth is there.
Yeah.
Like I was like
in the first 10 minutes of the game.
Sephiroth is just a myth, a legend. His name doesn't even come up to you at the end of the Midgard saga. His name isn't even mentioned, and you don't see him. You see his sword. And then later, you see how he killed that giant snake, but you still don't see him. You don't see what Sephiroth looks like until Cloud's first flashback. And the thing is, in the original game. And the thing is...
in the flashback, he's a good guy, so you still don't know him as a villain yet.
Right. So let me just go through here what plot points changed from Final Fantasy VII OG in Remake, okay? These are the plot points that changed. There are Nomura fake ghosts straight out of Kingdom Hearts that are trying to keep the OG storyline going, and they need to be destroyed because the OG storyline shouldn't happen. It was the bad ending you guys got.
It's a meta story now.
Yeah. Aerith's character, sweet little Aerith, by the end of the first remake, is a demigod. Literally, she's opening portals to other areas in space and time. When at the end of the first disc not disc, but the end of the Midgard saga in the original, she was just a confused, sweet little girl who just wanted to go with Cloud because she has a crush on him, but also because, and she reminds him of Zack, but also because she wants to figure out what being an ancient means.
She's such a good character in the OG.
Oh, she's so good. And in this, she's like such a mess. Then...
And can I call out Adrian in the chat? Nailed it. I was trying to formulate a thought, and Adrian put the words perfectly. They assassinated Sephiroth's character so bad. He was intimidating and mysterious AF at first, and they turned him into a mustache-twirling joke. That's exactly it.
That's exactly it. They had it like literally in Remake, he shows up like 40 times. And in the first game...
All the time. It's like a meme.
And in the first game, in the OG game, by the time where Remake ends, which is, by the way, 2 hours of gameplay in the OG, you don't see him a single time, and his name is mentioned once. So
MJ Sephiroth is supposed to be the manager at Hot Topic.
yeah, it's really it. So they ruined Sephiroth. They ruined the antagonist. Now they ruined his character. Sephiroth's ruined. Aerith is ruined. The plot is ruined with the ghosts. Barrett's fine until Sephiroth shows up and kills him, and then the ghosts resurrect him. Then Cloud is he's always been the unreliable narrator. And I want to point out that I think the voice acting and everybody was great. It was fine.
Fantastic.
But Cloud is still just kind of Cloud. Like, I thought they did a good job with him. He's still an unreliable narrator in the remake. But the only thing they said they would do, they followed through with, is the materia weapon system is cooler than the OG. The combat sucks though. I thought the action combat was dog water. But I guess compared to the turn-based, And then
Sure.
you have, they did expand on Biggs, Jesse, Wedge. It made me care about them because I knew coming up they're going to die. And then guess what? They don't die.
Right? This is how you butcher stakes and storytelling. I talk about this in my FF7 storyline is broken video, where if you take away the stakes, you don't have a story anymore. When you kill Barrett and he's literally revived a minute later by a plot ghost, like even subconsciously, even if you're cool with the plot still as a player, subconsciously your brain goes, I don't have to care about these
Death
characters
doesn't mean
anymore or
anything.
worry,
Yeah.
because there's no rules.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
anybody can come back to life at any time. So
exactly the same reason why no one cares about death in Dragon Ball, because you can just be revived with the Dragon Balls. You're fine.
There you go.
So they added Dragon Balls to Final Fantasy VII Remake. Not literally. I mean, but if they did, it wouldn't surprise me. And so we end. Let me put it this way: Final Fantasy VII Remake, where the game ends, is about 2 to 3 hours of gameplay in the original game. At the end of that section of Final Fantasy VII OG, Cloud, Barrett, Aerith, Tifa, and Red 13 are leaving Midgar. President Shinra's dead. His son replaced him. You're leaving Midgar to figure out who Aerith is, because she's an ancient, and to escape from Shinra. And that's where the end of Remake is supposed to be. But by that point in Remake, Aerith has opened portals. You kill the god of time itself. Sephiroth is showing up all over the place like a villain. Barrett's died. All the characters that died and sacrificed themselves at that point in the original are still alive. Oh, and guess what?
So bad.
A character that was a hidden plot point in the OG game is now in an alternate timeline and may come back. Zack.
Alternate timeline, honestly, I hate worse than plot ghosts.
Oh, yeah. I hate timeline is so lazy, and it's all Nomura. Like, Nomura has wet dreams and chokes himself out with his belts while touching himself to plot lines.
With his belts?
Yeah, to plot line things. That's what he's obsessed with. He's so obsessed with, like, but dude, what if there was another dimension and another version of Cloud?
I lost your audio, I think.
Can you guys still hear me?
Oh, yeah, you're back.
Okay.
I will. How much do you want to bet, Raziel, that
What's up, Yuri?
FF7 Remake Part 3, there's a secret tie-in to Kingdom Hearts?
I mean, I honestly at this point wouldn't be surprised if in the third part Goofy and Mickey Mouse show up at some point, dude. I wouldn't be shocked at all. Let's catch up on chat before we go into Rebirth, because I'll give you the first take of Rebirth.
Sure.
All right. Sephiroth will slide in yo DMs. Yeah. That flashback on Nibelheim was supposedly a good demonstration of how powerful Sephiroth is. They had one job in that part to remake. Yeah, they screwed it up, but that's Rebirth, so we'll get into that. We'll get to that, Adrian, for sure. What the F is the Kingdom Hearts version of Raz? I don't want to know. Sephiroth looks all their characters look metrosexual now, man. They assassinated Sephiroth's character so bad. Yeah, true. Don't add ghosts. Isn't remake content though? Only has the first disc. Nah, remake doesn't. Remake covers 3 hours of the OG's first disc. The OG's first disc ends at Aerith's death,
which is the end of the second game.
Which is the end of the second game in the remake. Yeah. You are two of the same guy from different dimensions, dude. You guys haven't living in Nomura's fantasy. We're mirror images. Don't be surprised if Part 3 Advent Children Cloud, dude. Please no.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
What if Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was in VR?
I'd be cool with it. I love VR.
I mean, I guess it's good material if you're suicidal. Remake culture is cancer. I feel ashamed for asking to remake. I do too, man. I feel you, Magu. I feel you.
That's a great point, Magu.
I mean, the two remakes only cover the first disc. True. Wouldn't Kingdom Hearts version of Raz just be Raz drawn Nomura style with 50 belts? Well, if you saw my interview with Nomura, with Yoshi P, I wanted to interview Nomura, but he didn't show up, so I had to interview Yoshi P instead.
I'm gonna draw a picture of you, Raz, in Kingdom Hearts style with a bunch of belts and stuff.
Do it. Do it. And gay. Yeah. The third disc doesn't really have anything to it. Yep, I'm telling you, I turned into fucking frogs gay. All right.
The frog minigame.
Frogs are all gay. I'm surprised they didn't make Barrett white. No, you're not allowed to have straight white people in video games. Are you stupid?
No, they're evil.
Yeah. You doing crack,
You'll
man?
be canceled.
All right. All right, Imaginator. Rebirth, go.
Okay. So I say this is true for FF7 Remake as well, part 1.
Okay.
That the things they did well, they did really, really well. And the things that they did bad, they did really, really bad.
Yeah.
I think that's true for both games, but I think there's more good than bad in Rebirth than Remake. In other words, I think Rebirth was much more faithful and tolerable
I'd agree.
than Remake.
But the things that were bad were way worse than the bad stuff from Remake.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And the things that were good were better.
Yeah, I agree. But to be fair, that's not hard when Remake had nothing from the original outside of the bombing mission.
This is true. I was actually quite shocked because unlike Remake, Rebirth is like a 120-hour game. Remake is like a 40-hour game.
True.
And throughout that whole 120 hours, I, for quite a long stretch, forgot about the bad because you have the opening, minor spoilers here. You got the opening sequence with Zack, and I was like, here we go. And then we didn't see him for like 80 hours.
Yeah.
And then the last 2 chapters were Cancer, and the rest of it was great, I thought, actually.
But to be, okay, I agree with you, but here's why I think Rebirth ultimately is the greater sin. Because the 3 hours that you stated that were atrocious at the last was one of the most pivotal moments in gaming history, and it was ruined.
Yeah.
So let's go over Rebirth here. So what happens? I mean, let's go over the good. What was good about Rebirth for you?
A lot of people hated the open world. I thought it was quite cool, actually.
It was fine.
I didn't mind.
I was neutral on it.
Yeah, it was good. And a lot of people dog on the mini games and the side quests, which I agree they kind of got too much by the
mini
end,
games were trash.
Hate it.
Why did they turn Fort Condor into a mini game?
With the OG FF7 polygonal models, that was quite funny.
So totally unnecessary. Too many. There were too many mini games in 7 Rebirth. Way too many.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Like have 1 or 2. They had like
Queen's
7.
Blood was fantastic, by the way.
It was okay. I didn't mind it. I still think the only real good card game ever made for Final Fantasy was Triple Triad, and I think that it was the only really good thing I liked about 8 personally. But
you can't ever top Triple Triad.
No, Triple Triad.
I thought Queen's Blood was really fun.
I didn't hate it. I'll put it. I didn't hate Queen's Blood.
Did you love the part where Red 13 was doing Michael Jackson moves on the ship?
Yeah, I loved it so much that like I don't know what Square did to make me this excited. They must be doing some mind control or something. But when I saw that, man, I blinked, and the next thing I knew is my 9mm was loaded into my mouth.
Dude,
I don't know how that happened, but
and you were like,
yeah. It made me, what it made me want. It made me want to take some of the drug that killed Michael Jackson. Man, I wanted to OD on it while I was watching it, so I could go to sleep and never come back.
I didn't hear from you for like a week. We had to do a wellness check.
Yeah,
and you were on the floor in there.
Taking a nice little nap. My own drool and urine. It was a good time. So, what I liked about it, the moments Sid was butchered. Sid was absolutely butchered.
I put it earlier in the chat, but they took Sid from being Adam Sandler in the OG and they made him Matthew McConaughey. Dude,
so true. Yeah, they ruined Sid. We didn't even get to see a glimpse of Rocket Town, his relationship with can't remember that woman's name. In the Rocket Town, Shara, yeah, that ruined his launch to space. Nothing there, not even a mention. There were moments Red 13's character was fine, and cool, and other moments where it was just absolute shit. Barrett stayed pretty steady. I liked him. They actually did make me care about Yuffie because I didn't give a damn about her in the OG game.
I actually hated Yuffie in the original.
Yeah,
and
she
Kate
was
Sith,
annoying.
but I loved them both.
I liked them both, except for that dude. That awful section where you play as solo as Kate Sith, opening doors and stuff.
Yeah.
That was AIDS. I thought I was 50-50 on what they did with Vincent. It was kind of ridiculous. Half of it was cool, like when you find him, and then it just there was just really ridiculous stuff with him that I was like,
Adrian, I knew he was somebody who was going to post that in the chat.
Sure, where's the bloody tea? Yeah, I love it, dude. Yeah, like of course though, they can't allow Sid to sit there and be his true character and be misogynistic and swearing all the time. Like that's not allowed. You can't. Well, I mean,
he was straight up abusive to Shara. So, and I'm positive the whole Rocket Town sequence, one way or another, is going to be in part.
It'll be in part 3.
I'm
sure they have to. They will for sure. I was like, yeah, that's going to happen.
He was like an inch away from punching Shara in the OG game.
Yeah. He was like going to do straight up some domestic violence, man.
Just like when Tifa calls Cloud a retard when they're climbing the Shinra building stairs.
Yeah. No, she calls Barrett a retard.
Oh, that's what
Then I thought Cosmo Canyon was peak. Cosmo Canyon section was amazing.
Why did I fall?
Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it.
I don't know. All I know is
let's see.
I liked the expanded Gongaga section too. I thought that was pretty.
That was good. And that should be fine with how they introduced Zack, but they didn't do that. Then they absolutely ruined Nibelheim. They ruined it from the OG. Because I'm trying
to think.
In the OG, you show up to Nibelheim, and if Tifa's in your party, right? They're like, you're both like, what the hell? The city is back. And if you don't have her, the party members that are in with you will be like, yo, Cloud, are you lying, man? And he's like, no, I wasn't lying. But it's even better if you have Tifa with you. Because she like backs you up, like, no, this city burned down. And in the OG, all the Shinra actors that are there are trying to convince you they lived there their whole lives. In the original, now in the remake, the second you talk to one, we just rebuilt this and we're just here now.
That's right. I forgot about
all the mystery and all the suspense is gone. All the wonder, like, oh, dude, what's going on? It's just told to you. Yeah, this is not real Nibelheim. It's rebuilt. It's fake. Okay. So now, because that was a great moment for where you as a player, when you played the OG, started to not trust Cloud as a narrator. You're like, wait, I thought he said this burned down. I thought he said everybody died, and everything looks the same. Well, in this one, and it made the other characters question Cloud's sanity a bit. But in this one, it's just like, nah, it's fine. Everything's good.
And to be honest, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but Cloud's unreliable narrator subplot in Rebirth, I thought was greatly enhanced in a lot of places.
The Sephiroth clone stuff, where he starts acting like holding his sword, like Sephiroth,
losing his mind.
Yeah, that was cool.
And he like that moment where he
he murders all those soldiers in the Mako reactor.
Tifa's like, I'm scared of you. Like,
yeah, that was good. That was really good. And the moment where Aerith, it shows the cutscene of when Aerith, after Aerith's mom died. And how she was at the train station in the rain. Yeah. That was awesome. That was so good.
There was some really effective emotional beats in there.
Yeah.
I'll save it for a sec because I have more thoughts on the unreliable narrator thing from the ending, but I'll wait for that for a sec.
Okay. So the next section that really, though, was like where I really started to realize, okay, it was too good to be true. We should have never asked for this. Was when you get to the Temple of the Ancients, and it starts out super strong, and then as you go through, and they're slowly putting in, like, you can hear the cry of the planet and music and stuff like that, and you're like, oh, this is so awesome. Then the thing we thought we had got rid of shows up. The Fate Ghosts come back.
And this is after, like, 90 hours of gameplay.
Yep. And then everything changes, because you remember in the end of the Temple of the Ancients in the OG game, Cloud literally loses his mind and beats the shit out of Aerith. Like,
he does.
Beating her. Like, puts her on the ground and just gets on top of her and starts wailing on her until Vincent comes down and knocks him out. Like, and then that's when he wakes up and you're like, he's like, what did I do? I'm scared of myself. I didn't mean to do that. I have no control, over myself. And yet in this one, none of that happens. There are no stakes. Once again, all the stakes are removed.
Yep. It's a hollow shell of a plot.
But now we're going to talk about, and I'll let you go first, the worst part of this, the ending.
Yeah.
And this, it brings my piss to an absolute boil, even thinking about what they did to this, one of the most iconic moments of video game history. But you go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're already halfway there. I mean, they knew going into this how important this moment was, and how I thought of it was there were 2 doors. This is how I've explained it to people before as I've broken this down.
Right.
2 doors. Door number 1, Aerith stays alive. They change the plot. She doesn't die, which would be terrible, but whatever. On we go. Door number 2, she does die. Those were the only 2 options. She lives or she doesn't. Somehow they found door number 3.
They did both.
She does die, but they don't show it. And the emotional impact, we're going to take that out. So even at the end of the game, and let me say this, as a storyteller, I understand unreliable narrative mechanics. It has a place and it can be very effective. And I understand what they were trying to do with Cloud being the unreliable narrator, where you're like, did Aerith die or did she not? Like, I don't get it. Like, they put you in Cloud's head. So I understand like what they were trying to go for, but it doesn't land. What they should have done is showed the audience what the audience should have seen, which is what actually happens. We see her die. We get the emotional payoff. We're crying about it. It's really sad. It's really cinematic. And then if you remember, like, it's like right before the credits roll, there's a scene where they're repairing the airship, getting ready, or the what's the red plane called?
The Tiny Bronco.
Tiny Bronco. They're repairing the Bronco. And Cloud's just like, do, like, everything's cool. And they're like looking at him like, is he okay? Like, why isn't he sad? And he's like, oh, Aerith's not dead. That is a cool scene. That's a cool way to do that.
Right.
If you would have showed what actually happened first, so the audience is like, bro, Cloud is messed up. Like, this is like the stakes are back at that point. But I don't know how
they were all removed.
Showed that.
So
it's like a scientific marvel that they showed the moment without showing the moment. I still don't know how they did
it's so bad. So for clarification for anybody who's played the OG but didn't play Rebirth, I'm going to save you guys a lot of time. If you remember in the OG, you get to the city of the ancients, the lost city. You're searching around, you can't find Aerith anywhere. Then at night, a new door appears. You go down. Cloud goes to the bottom. And right when he's about to, and Aerith's sitting there praying, right? Because Aerith has the white materia, which she explained in the original, at the beginning of the game, does nothing. The white materia did nothing. It was just a family heirloom at this point.
It was a hair tie.
She used it as a hair tie. But she figured out in the city of the ancients, because she's a descendant of the ancients, that she can use the white materia to summon the spell Holy to stop Sephiroth from using the black materia, which summons Meteor.
It's such a tight story in the original.
So Cloud goes down there to protect her, and he starts to lose his mind again because he's got Genova cells in his body, and Sephiroth can control him. And he pulls his sword out, and he's about to kill her until your party members, depending on who you have, stop you, say, what are you doing, man? And you snap out of it, and you're just standing there. Sephiroth descends from the top of the building and stabs her and kills her, impales her right in front of Cloud. Cloud loses his shit. It plays the most emotional music ever, and then you fight Genova, who's guarding Sephiroth, because Sephiroth runs away.
So powerful.
The white materia drops out of her hair when she dies, and it sinks to the bottom of the lake that you're in. And then at the end, after you beat Genova, Cloud takes her body and buries her at sea, essentially. It puts her in the water and lets her drop. And then Cloud's like, at the end of that whole exchange, goes, I know I'm messed up. I know Sephiroth can control me if he wants to, but I don't give a damn. I have to chase after him and kill Sephiroth. I can't let this stand. Like, because he loved Aerith. Then, but this is the remake. You show up at the City of the Ancients, and there's a giant tornado blocking your entrance. What's the tornado made out of? Fake ghosts. They're fake ghosts trying to make sure that Aerith, I guess, still dies because it's what's supposed to happen. So
it's meta.
So then you start fighting all these in a Michael Bay fashion, all the ghosts with machine guns and shit. And Cloud's the only one that can get in, right? He gets through. He goes down there. Same scene. She's praying. She has the white materia, right? And all of a sudden, Cloud gets taken over. He pulls out his sword like he's going to kill her. But guess what? Your party's not there now to stop you, right? Then all of a sudden, Cloud is teleported backwards through time. He goes back through time because it realizes that the white materia doesn't work. And so in this alternate timeline that's already doomed because it's falling apart because Cloud or Zack or whatever did die in that timeline, the Aerith of that timeline knows the Cloud that's there is the Cloud from the right timeline, so she gives Cloud her white materia because it's useless now in her doomed world, so you can take the white materia back to the real timeline and give it to her. So you do that, you give Aerith the working white materia, then Sephiroth flies out of the sky, impales her again, but it's done in really quick flashes. It's not one consistent move. It's done in flashes.
And you're so confused at this point.
At this point, because it's two timelines. There's two timelines flashing really quick. Like literally, it's giving you a fucking seizure. Like if you're just sitting there like, what is going on? And you see the small clips, very brief moments of the OG in future graphics cinematics of when Cloud had the dialogue of, you think, and there's tears going down his face because he's holding her because she's dead, and he's like, "You think I'm not angry? You think I'm a puppet? You know, like my eyes are burning." And Sephiroth says, "Don't pretend to say you feel anything. You're nothing but a puppet." You know, and that was in the original. You see that voice exchange. You can see it, the words on their lips. You read their mouth as they're talking, but it's shifting so fast between that and the messed up timeline where Aerith doesn't die. And so you don't know which one is happening. You have no idea which one is really happening. Then you fight Jenova again. It plays the awesome music, and Aerith is laying there. Then you get teleported into outer space, into a time dimension where you and Aerith fight a version of Sephiroth.
Honestly?
The Advent Children version of Sephiroth. Yeah, go ahead.
That's one of the worst crimes of this part, is that after she dies, however you want to interpret that scene, you play as her 5 minutes later. Instead, in the OG
fighting Sephiroth.
She's gone. You feel she's gone because she does not show up ever again. Well, no spoilers, but she does show up a little bit way later.
Yeah.
But like, she's gone. You feel her absence. But in this one, it's like the Barrett death scene.
Like, it doesn't care. She's back.
No worries. She's back.
You fight. I think it's the Advent Children version of Sephiroth from another timeline. You guys fight him. You beat him. He fucks off. He leaves. And then Aerith is like, you're like, we did it, Aerith. Everything's good. And then she literally says to you, yeah, but I'm dead, so don't feel bad. And then she disappears. And then Cloud is standing there. And it shows the scene from the first one where all the party members, like Imaginator just said, are super sad because they all just watched Aerith get impaled by a giant katana. And Cloud's just like, all right, why you guys? And to him, Aerith is still sitting right next to him because only he can see her now because it's the alternate timeline version of her.
Cool. I mean,
that only he can see.
Be a cool thing.
And and so he's sitting there. Why are you guys so sad? Let's just go. But then this begs the question, Imaginator, who the fuck buried her body? What happened to the real Aerith's dead body? If Cloud, like, did he just chill there and like, why is Barrett walking around with his arms out? What's he holding? Nothing. Air. That's weird. Like it doesn't address it at all.
Knows?
It doesn't address anything. And it's so. And then you go to your scene. You talked about the tiny Bronco. Everyone's still devastated because Aerith is dead and not in their party anymore. And even to the alternate timeline version of Aerith that only Cloud can see. You know, he's like, all right, well, we got to keep going to the northern crater now. We got to go. And she's like, I'm just going to stay here. And he's like, all right, see you later. My planet needs me. And he gets on the plane and they fly off. And she's just standing there watching it go away. This alternate reality Aerith that only Cloud can see. And Cloud has no idea. But here's what they robbed us of, right? I'm going to tie it all with the neat little bow right here. Here's what they robbed us of. They robbed the characters of being able to grieve fully because you only see snippets of it. They robbed Cloud from having that emotional impact because Aerith's death is what drives him the rest of the game. And they robbed us. They robbed us of that emotional moment of seeing a character we grew with now, I guess, in the Rebirth and Remake sake, for you combine the two games for over 120 hours. They rob us of that loss, that devastation, and also, though, that giving us that determination to, all right, Sephiroth's got to go. We gotta take him out. You know, like
Yep.
he murdered her, and all that's gone. And the thing is too is Sephiroth killing her wasn't as big of a deal because he's a cartoon villain now at this point. He's a joke.
Yeah.
So a joke kills another joke, and then the third joke is just standing there like everything's fine, guys. Like
That's what we call meta.
yeah, it's
like Inception
bad.
layers of ridiculousness.
And done so poorly. It done like the same way that they can, all the stuff, the timeline crap that's in 7 Remake and Rebirth is done the exact same way that all the merging and crap is done in Kingdom Hearts because Nomura did them both. They make no sense.
Nomura. And Kitase, I mean, Nomura, I think, is a big part to blame, but it's really unclear. I think it's a group effort from Kitase.
Oh yeah, it's not all on Nomura. It's not 100% on him. Because here's the thing.
Yeah.
The best, and you probably know this as a writer, and I know this as an actor. The best artists keep people around them that keep them in check.
That's why you have an editor.
That's why you have an editor. That's why you have a director when you're an actor. That's why you have that's why every writer, I mean, how many people before you had like on your first fantasy novel, how many people did you have read it before you published it and go over it? Probably hundreds of times.
So many. And honestly, there were things that I was sad. I was like, no, you don't get it.
Yeah. You have to kill
in the story.
Yeah. And it comes down to, I had a discussion with our older brother because he's a playwright about this, is if you want to be good at a good artist, you have to, there's a phrase called, you have to be willing to kill your own baby. And no, that doesn't mean abortion. That means
I draw the line
you'll fall in love with an idea, a character, you'll fall in love with something that you created, and you have to be willing to let it go if it doesn't work. If someone says, dude, this doesn't work, this doesn't make any sense, you have to be able to just go, all right, I'll take it out. Like,
there's never been a time in my writing career of 15 plus years where an editor or somebody has said this needs to go and I've listened that I've regretted it later. It's always, sometimes years later, I'll look back and be like, you know what? That was totally the right move. That did not belong.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to. And like, you'll make, as an actor, like I'll be on stage in rehearsals, or on set, and I'll make a choice. I'm like, oh, this is exactly what this character would do. And the director's like, nah, don't do that. Do this instead.
Doesn't matter.
And you're like, what? And so then you do that, and you're like, I didn't like that as much. You're still married to it in your head, this other idea. But then when you see the finished product or you get the laughs, you're like, oh yeah, he was right. Because he's looking at a way that you're not. And I don't think there's
his skill set is different than an actor's skill set.
Yes. And I don't think there's anyone at Square right now doing checks and balances. There's nobody there.
Yeah. That's exactly what you mentioned before.
Nomura no.
Nomura has the markers and the crayons, and he's a kid alone with a white wall in front of him, and he's going nuts with his crayon box, and mom's not there to tell him to stop.
Exactly. Anymore. Let's go over. Let's catch up on chat here. You guys have been really patient. I don't know you gentlemen, but I want to say, don't let Final Fantasy R cultists gaslight you into thinking FF7 was always about being silly. I meant poorly written. No, dude, trust me, they can't gaslight us. We're old, man. We're the OGs. We've been around a long time. But I appreciate it. Yeah, dude. No, yeah. FF7R, both R's are retarded. That's what the R stands for.
That's what part 3 is going to be called.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 7, retarded. Just because something works in your head, John says, doesn't mean it will work in the consumer's mind. True.
Exactly. And that's why you need editors and directors, because they have that mindset.
Yeah,
an artist doesn't
outside
have that mindset.
You need outside looking in. You need it.
And listen, I can appreciate if Nomura and Kitase and all them were writing these remakes, I can appreciate the fact that they're like, dude, what if we did this meta thing and this timeline thing? Because when you're writing a first draft, you get all the ideas out on the table.
Yes.
And that's cool. That's fine. I would love to hear if they would have messed with this in pre-production and then been like, nah, we can't do that. Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
But they ran with it.
And here's the reason why that's a huge problem. Because let's say a bunch of this time travel, multi-dimension crap was in some version of the script of the OG and it was sidelined, right?
Yeah.
That's fine. You guys said you were making a remake. You guys said you were making a recreate, like you're going to, so even if you now have a console and, PCs that can help tell you that story that you didn't have back then, people are expecting the original game with better visuals, better music, voice acting.
And they cut it for a reason back then.
Yeah, yeah. So like, but the thing is, and this, I don't know if how 100% true this is, but I've seen a lot of posts about this and a lot of inside sources have told me this. Nomura, because we all know that Kingdom Hearts 2 and especially 3 bombed. 3 bombed hard.
Yeah.
And Nomura holds grudges against people who don't like his ideas. If an idea, and that includes the players, if he puts something in a game and players are like, this is terrible, instead of being like, oh man, what should I change next time? He goes, I'm going to force you to like it. And
it's the same thing Hollywood's doing.
That's what he did with Remake and Rebirth, with these ideas. People are like, no, we don't like this.
It's
so
the Michael Scott
harder.
meme where he goes, now I'm going to do it even harder.
Yep. And that's true, man. All right, let's catch up. Don't sell your old consoles. Getting hard to find those. Yeah, true. I have them in the back there. Let's see. I swear games are becoming shitty now, and movies and TV shows. Oh, they're not becoming. They are that. They are that now. Most of them.
Yeah.
Shows to watch if you're bored. Okay. I don't care what anyone says. I actually like Kingdom Hearts 1. What's up, Kinvesu? I think Kingdom Hearts 1 is probably fine, like for a very niche audience. It was
a fun experiment.
It had no right having a sequel or a trilogy.
No.
And the guy who made it had no right being a game director.
Agreed.
Okay, Imaginator. So we know what went wrong with Final Fantasy. And I'll let you, before we go on to talking about what can change, sum up ultimately what you think the core reason we are in a world of Final Fantasy 14 Dawn Trails, of Final Fantasy 15, of Final Fantasy 16, of Final Fantasy 7 Remake and Rebirth. What's the ultimate reason we got here?
I honestly think it's what we said earlier with the original passionate people leaving. That was number one. And the identity crisis where, like, if you change Final Fantasy to an MMO forever, fine. That's fine. Just stick to one idea, right? So that a fan base can build and an identity can be retained and you can build from that. If you take it back to turn-based, fine. If you make it an action RPG, fine. But pick one. Pick a lane and stay in that lane.
Identity crisis.
Rather than changing your identity every 3 years. I think that's at the heart of the problem, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree. The other thing I would add in is they brought in the checklist. So they brought in the DEI crap. They brought in the woke crap. They brought in they pandered to audiences that don't buy their games anyway. And they made the cardinal mistake of, we need to make a game everyone will buy. And you go, well, guess what? When you make a game for everyone, you end up making a game for no one. You have to know who your audience is, and you have to cater to what they want. And then that how everyone got into Final Fantasy, word of mouth, man. Through 4 and 6, like, dude, you have to play this game. You have
Playground.
You have to play this game, and that's how RPG fans are created. That's how.
Yeah.
You don't try to go, hey, what can we put in the next Final Fantasy that will get all the kids that play Fortnite to play Final Fantasy? That's how they think now. That's how they think now. And a bunch of companies are guilty of this. Blizzard Entertainment's done this. Like what's the company that makes Last of Us? I don't remember them now.
Naughty Dog.
Naughty Dog did this with a bunch of their crap. It's an absolute disaster. So like, how do you walk the line though between innovating and changing things or not changing anything and letting it go stale?
Well, and you have to innovate, right? Anything you're doing, any artistic endeavor has to innovate and change. That doesn't mean it has to change its identity, like we've talked about. Dragon Quest is a great example, and it's such an ironic example because, as we talked about earlier, they were initial direct competitors with Squaresoft. Enix was, because Enix was Dragon Quest, Squaresoft was Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy passed up Dragon Quest, at least in the West. But Dragon Quest has not changed. They've evolved and they've done things differently and they've tried new things. But if you play Dragon Quest 11, Echoes of an Elusive Age, which is the newest mainline game, it plays exactly like Dragon Quest 5, 6. The protagonist is still silent. The battle system is exactly the same. Honestly, I think even to the point where Dragon Quest could have innovated a little bit more, but I'd much rather have a series stay on the side of tradition rather than do what Final Fantasy did. But if anyone wants a
Yeah.
good example, look to Dragon Quest. They're older than Final Fantasy, and they've stayed true to their identity to this very day.
Yeah. I mean, I've never heard anybody complain about a Dragon Quest being woke garbage for starters or anything like that.
It's unapologetically 1987 Dragon Quest, 1985 Dragon Quest, and it's never changed. I'm curious what they do with 12, which has been in the works for years now, but I mean, so far, Dragon Quest is exactly this. You know exactly what you're getting when you buy a Dragon Quest game.
I agree, and here's the thing too, man. So my opinion about, I think you're 100% right. Like, and Dragon Quest is an excellent example of that. A lot of companies, and Square is definitely guilty of this, make change for the sake of change. Change for the sake of change is bad. That's not innovation.
Yeah.
That's not innovation. That's what you call throwing shit against a wall and hoping it sticks. That's what that is.
Yep.
And Square does both, though. So here's the thing. Square, obviously, in the mainline games, has forever now, from Final Fantasy X all the way up to 16, has just, and Remake and Rebirth, obviously, been just changing for the sake of change. Let's change this. Why? It worked before. It's got to be different now. It's a new age. It's 2026 now. It's got to be different. And they do that. But then you look at Final Fantasy 14, and the biggest thing that's kept 14 down for so long is they're too static. They don't dare to take any risks or change anything. But that's because that's an MMO. You need innovation in MMOs to keep people playing the same game for 15 years. In single player games, you've got to stick with the formula that works. And if you look at Final Fantasy 1 through 10, our golden era, they stuck with a formula that worked. They didn't change their core formula at all. Everything started falling apart when they changed the core formula.
Yep. And sure, they picked up new fans with 11 onwards, but they lost the other half. So did it really? It was taking 2 steps forward and 1 step backwards, or
I would
rather
say one forward and 2 backward. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, sure, and then that's what I was saying. If they were to commit today to any direction, great for them, but you're going to need a solid 6, 7, 8 years to get an identity back, and by then everybody's checked out.
You're right, and if they need 6, 7, 8 years, I mean, let's go back again to the absolute masterpiece that's Clair Obscur Expedition 33. That game literally did all they did to be successful was follow the formula that existed from the 90s.
Oh, you mean the one that's dead and nobody wants anymore?
Yeah, the one that Square's like, no one wants turn-based combat anymore. it's so dead, and everyone wants to like see everything jumping around and explosions everywhere. And these TikTok kids want to just see all the boobs flying around, and then the guy like does this awesome anime attack while rock music. That's what people want. Like, no, because here's the thing that Square forgot: their hardest core fans are adults now. They're the same people. They're us. They're 30s and 40-year-olds. And there's no kid, like you mentioned earlier, it's a teenager right now, very rarely would go pick up Final Fantasy 4, OG 7.
My
6.
kids would. My
Your
kids
would.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, if you have kids, you got to make them play the classics. Keep them away from this TikTok brain rot crap. So I have to ask you, man, and this is to chat too. Actually, before we go to the question, let's catch up on chat. But this next question is to Imaginator. I've been neglecting you guys in chat. I'm sorry. Let me see.
You guys are amazing.
Let's see. So Convestu's is the last one I saw. I hope the third installment FF7R camera pans out and we get to see Nomura and his team watching the game. How would be met, dude? That needs to be in the game.
Dude, that would be sick. That would be almost as cool as I think my favorite moment in FF7 Rebirth was when you're in the alternate dimension and Captain America and the Guardians of the Galaxy step out.
Yeah.
That was dope. Dude.
Yeah, I'm telling you, 4 on 6, you got a golden idea. You got to tweet it out to Nomura. They still got time. They can put that in there.
Throw some belts in there.
Yeah. I didn't like 2 and 3, even though I'm turning 22 tomorrow. I'm an old-minded soul. Final Fantasy fan game when Final Fantasy fan game. Oh yeah, never again. The problem is the new generation has no imagination. Well, it's kind of hard to have an imagination when you've had an iPad or a phone in your hands from the time before you could talk, and you're subjected to psyops all day from the government. I mean,
It's true.
that's
It's true.
yeah. Let's see. Generation X is mentally cooked. I don't. I mean, everyone's mentally cooked if you're in society right now. Kids nowadays have trouble writing a whole paragraph. I can't expect him to write a whole ass game. Problem is reading comprehension and imagination. True.
Yeah.
Not every game is for everyone. True. Kids can't sign that Last Lesbians. Oh, Last of Us. You're making fun of Last of Us. Yeah. DJ, exactly. Also, nowadays you can't be friends with anyone from having different opinions.
DJ's
True.
based.
True. I'm going to say this, and it's pretty bollocks coming from a Metal Gear fan. I prefer a bit more gameplay in my games. Yeah, true, right? Not so many cutscenes. I'm not watching a movie. I'm playing a video game. And then pooping goes off and how all the chicks in games now are masculine and butch.
Just look to Tifa. I mean, as a very quick tangent,
Yeah.
in all seriousness, because the boss girl, the boss, what's the term? The girl boss, right? The girl boss thing is such a thing now. I feel like it's on a decline, and you can. I mean, look at Tifa. She is like the toughest female heroine ever, but she's still a woman. She's vulnerable. She needs people. She's has a weakness. Stellar Blade is a funny example because it's totally off topic, but
yeah,
she's known for two very big reasons that Stellar Blade is famous, right?
Yeah.
But if you play that game, sure, there's that on the surface, but she is kind and she's nurturing and she cares about people and she needs help from other people. She's a tough character. That's how you do a girl boss.
Yeah, all girl bosses, quote unquote, girl boss is code for a woman pretending to be a man and doing a poor job at it. That's all a girl boss is, man. Let's see. My question: will you guys be doing more podcasts together? Yeah, we will, DJ. This isn't the last collab.
Thanks, DJ.
All right, so here's the question that I'm posing to chat and to Imaginator first. It's a two-part question. Is Final Fantasy dead, and is it too far gone to save?
Whew, that is a good question. Too Far Gone is a Metallica song that just popped in my head, by the way. Is it dead? I honestly think your thumbnail here is pretty accurate. No, but it's close. Something drastic has to happen, I think. It's already moving into obscurity. But, and I guess your second half of your question was, what do you do from here? Or is that jumping ahead?
No, that's the second part.
Honestly,
is it too far gone to save? Yeah.
I don't think it's too far gone to save because the brand has so much, there's so much brand power associated with Final Fantasy. And there is so many generations of people. There's like close to 4 generations of players that have lived with Final Fantasy, which is pretty incredible. That doesn't just go away very easily. I'm going to use a weird example, but hear me out. Super Mario and Legend of Zelda. These are two franchises that have two split paths. There's the 2D Mario games and there's the 3D Mario game, platformer Mario games. There's the 2D top-down Zeldas, traditional Zeldas, and there's the big traditional 3D Zeldas. Both have their place. Both are amazing in different ways. But what's cool is the 2D Marios and Zeldas are lower budget, quicker dev times, and they're just as cool, different, but they're just as fun and awesome as the big mainline ones that take 5, 6, 7 years to develop. Why can't Final Fantasy do that? Pull a Mega Man 10. If you remember, Mega Man 10 was an NES demake. It was a brand new game, but it looked like Mega Man 1, 2, and 3 on the NES. Do that. Have the one Final Fantasy line be PS1 style, pre-rendered backgrounds, static pre-rendered backgrounds with 3D character models, turn-based battles, and then have the new 3D ones doing all the innovating and testing and experimenting with action RPG stuff. Like, why can't they do that? That's the way forward, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting angle. I mean, I didn't really think of that. Because my view is Final Fantasy, let me put it this way. Before Clair Obscur came out, if you would have asked me this question and say, is Final Fantasy dead? I'd have said, absolutely. It's 100% dead. It's not forgotten though, because like you said, there's generations of people that grew up with it. It wouldn't when Final Fantasy dies, it's not going to disappear. People will remember that it's there.
They'll dig up its corpse.
But Final Fantasy, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, put a gun to Square's head, and it's their do or die moment. It's they were shown unrefutable evidence that the old formula works better than whatever the crap they're doing is.
And people are starved
for it. And not only are they make buckets, of money making that kind of game, but they'll win all the awards making that kind of game. So is Final Fantasy dead right now? Until I see, let me put it this way, Final Fantasy is in the operating room when we're outside of it. And we can't see what's going on.
We're pacing in the waiting room.
We don't know.
Vending machine chips.
Yeah. We don't know if when the doctor comes out, he's going to say he made it, or who can you call for funeral arrangements, right?
Yeah.
That's where we're at with Final Fantasy. And what's ultimately going to determine that, whether it's completely dead or it has a chance, is Final Fantasy 17. We know nothing about it. We have no clue.
Nothing.
We know zero. There are people speculating
it's been out for what, 3 years now?
Yeah. There are people speculating that they hadn't started yet. There's been rumors that they had started, and then after Clair Obscur, they went back to the drawing board and changed things.
Really?
There's also rumors for a while that it was going to be another MMO, but we don't because of how bad 14's doing, and they want a game in that space. We don't know yet, though. We don't know anything. We've seen that they absolutely torched their Western studios over the last 6 months. So that's going to impact what they do. So
yeah,
let's catch up on chat, and then we'll talk a bit about our speculation of Final Fantasy 17.
Yeah.
Let's go up. The franchise desperately needs a complete overhaul. Sakaguchi coming back would save it.
Oh, dude, that would be amazing.
And I don't know if you knew this, though, but Sakaguchi kind of hinted at the possibility.
Really?
After Clair Obscur Game Awards, he had a couple tweets that were...
He's probably sick of seeing his beloved IP get crapped all over
for
10 years.
Yeah, and to see that Clair Obscur copied it and it made a huge amount of money, and he's like, I could come back and do that again. Kind of like Michael Jordan when he retired and then for baseball for 3 years, then he came back and won another two championships or whatever.
That's true.
Final Fantasy can be saved, but it would require an accurate internal diagnosis and real action. True. And I think if anything could have provided that, Clair Obscur did.
Yeah. And Wally Ram makes a good point that that's what is required. I don't have faith that Square Enix is honest enough with itself to do that.
I don't have faith in that either. I think they're so far up their own asses, they have no idea.
Yeah.
Yep. Like you said, people who made it Final Fantasy aren't working on it anymore. It isn't really Final Fantasy. True. 14 is dead for sure. True.
I do like DJ Pooping's idea to just make a game where every character is Lulu. I like that. I'd play that.
Yeah, I saw him saying to make a Final Fantasy roguelike.
Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles are roguelikes technically.
True. Even though I haven't played Final Fantasy, but I've watched a few streamers play it, I see where the issues are. If you've never played one and you can glaringly see the issues, and Square can't, what does that say?
That's telling.
Yeah. Let's see. Who the hell is this guy? Hi, I'm Raziel, and this is Imaginator. What's up?
What's up? Cloud
got sick and turned gay like the frogs. How to say every series bring back the original leads. How to save every series. Yeah, that's how to save every series. Literally, that would save every series that's in a hole. Is bring back the original people.
Yeah.
Easier said than
done,
that
have passion.
Yeah. So what do you think? Do you have any speculation on 17?
I have a lot of thoughts about a lot of things. I have zero thoughts on that. I think it's just because I'm so burned out and discouraged from everything we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly haven't given a ton of thought. My hope, my one single hope we've already covered is that after what we saw Clair Obscur do, that somebody at Square noticed and was honest enough to be like, guys, we might want to look at this. And that's really all I have to say of 17. When we're gonna see it, I mean, I would assume it's the second FF16 went gold that they started development on 17, if not before that. Usually before that.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't think we're gonna hear anything about FF17 for another at least year or two. And when we do, I'm just praying it's some kind of traditional. I don't
Yep.
know what that means, but it's some kind of traditional.
I'm in the same boat. Square Enix going forward, I hope they learn something from Expedition 33, and once they do finally announce 17, we'll know pretty quick if they did or not. Once we get some details on it. And outside of that, they need to stay the hell away from their old products. Stop making. We know they don't stay away from Chrono Trigger. I know you want a Final Fantasy 9 remake, but they need to stay away from it. They need to stay away from 9. They need to stay away from Chrono Trigger. They need to stay away from Secret of Mana, and let the classics be classics. I'm fine with HD remasters or re-releases on newer consoles with better visuals, higher frame rates. I'm fine with that. But you've got to stop. You've got to stop trying to, because that's how many remakes of different games and franchises does Square do? I think more than anybody. They've
Probably
remastered and remade pretty much every Final Fantasy game 30
They're the
times.
ultimate grave diggers. They just dig up the corpses of everything over and over
and people
again.
are suckers. They buy it. That's what happens. That's why.
So, quick question for you.
Yeah.
Are you going to buy and play Part 3 of FF7R?
Man, why you got to put me
or
on
are you
the
totally
spot
checked
like
out
that?
at this point?
I mean, at this point, I'm kind of pot committed, man. Like I've watched the train. I'm in the train that's in the slow motion train accident. But to be honest, I could probably just watch it all on YouTube.
Yeah,
like
you could.
I just
it is a little bit of that situation where, you know, you're driving down the freeway and you see the cop car lights and you see the fire truck and you're like,
you have to slow down.
Definitely hurt.
Yeah.
And I know somebody died and I don't want to look, but I have to. Oh, I want to. You kind of want to see.
You want to catch the glimpse of that body bag.
Freeway,
yeah.
You hope everyone's okay, but you kind of want to watch and see anyway.
True.
It's kind of that situation.
True. What about you? Are you gonna play it?
I'll play it. Like I said, I was able to enjoy the FF7R trilogy more than you were able to, just because I am not as closely tied to it. I expect it to be a good game, but I expect the trend to continue where the worst will be even worse than Rebirth and the good will be even better than Rebirth.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I might, just because my review is going to be pure comedy on it. Like me losing my mind, like on.
I'm looking forward to that video.
But I mean, just imagine though, shoe on the other foot, if instead of making 7 remake Rebirth, they made Final Fantasy 8 remake Rebirth. You'd probably be upset.
That's a dark place, dude. I don't want to go there.
Yeah, you lose.
You've been living there for 10 years.
It's
I
awful.
don't want to go there.
It's an awful place to be. Seeing your childhood like pretty much to be a corpse in the gutter in Las Vegas while a meth head takes advantage of its butt. Like that's what. That's what I'm seeing, dude, at this point, and I can't stop it. You know, it's like getting molested during night terrors when you have body paralysis, and you're just like, well, I'm getting molested. There's nothing I can do. My body won't move. So that's
Raziel still wakes up in cold sweats.
It's so bad, man.
3 in the morning, be like, dude, is FF7R a dream, right? Like,
it didn't happen, right?
Like,
Dude, I still remember that guy I mentioned earlier, Terrence, because he was just as into 7 as me. And I got remake before him, right? And then I played it all the way through, and I called him. I'm like, dude, I got remake and I beat it. And he's like, oh man, how is it? And I'm like, it's the worst thing ever. And he was so sad. He was so upset.
It's honestly, I mean, we're talking about a video game.
Real.
There's bigger problems, but at the end of the day, it's important. It's a really important thing, and it's sad when it gets so messed up.
Yeah, but to be honest, sad is the best way to describe the video game industry right now. I mean, look at Square, look at Nintendo, look at Sony.
So I haven't heard that one.
Yeah.
One more question for you, I guess. And maybe this is for the chat's benefit, but I want to hear your thoughts on this. What is the best way to play and experience the old games now Whether that's modding, whether that's emulation, whether that's buy the old consoles off eBay. What would you recommend to people that are like, I want to play the original Glory because it still exists out there. How do you do
they
that?
haven't gone away. Man, I mean, it's funny thing is, I think I would give different advice depending on the age of somebody. If there was a kid, that had like TikTok attention span and like these graphics suck and they just can't play a game because their graphics suck, I'd say get for 2 and 4. I mean, 4 and 6, get the Pixel remaster on Steam.
Those were fantastic.
Yeah, do that. If you're for 7, I mean, even though like 7's very blocky and polygony, I think it adds a charm to it.
It does.
And just play OG. You could get it on Steam. And if it really bugs you that bad, you can download mods and make the graphics look better. Like,
the last time I played through FF7 OG was 2 years ago. And by the way, that's one of the only classics my kids still haven't played, and we're going to all play it together this summer. So that's
sick. You're going to have to update me on that.
Oh, dude, you'll have to come over for a couple sessions if you can.
I will.
But the best way to play FF7 OG if it's too old for you is download it's not Tifa. It's called Seventh Heaven.
Yeah, Seventh Heaven Mod Manager. Yep.
It's unbelievable. It makes it a brand new game that holds up today. And I would say I did this on my channel, so my people know this. But playing through Final Fantasy IX with the Moguri mod, it's all free, obviously. Very easy to set up. It changes the whole game.
It just replaces all the textures and everything. Yeah.
That's what I'd recommend.
So that's what I would say. And I would say, but like if graphics don't bother you at all, like you're like, I want to experience as it was then, it's not hard, man. Get your hands on an OG PlayStation, one of the green label copies of Final Fantasy 7 or 9.
Yeah.
And just
they're
play
not
it.
Hard to find.
Yeah, just play it. In fact, isn't 7 did they put Final Fantasy 7 on the PlayStation Mini that came out? I don't remember if they did.
I don't remember if it was on the mini model, but it's of course on the PlayStation Store and the Switch Store.
Yeah,
it's everywhere.
If you have a PS5, you can get the OG. Yeah, or PS4.
Yeah, in fact,
or PS3.
Final Fantasy. If you count the Pixel remasters, FF1 through 12 are on every system.
Yeah, so just I would say play them, play the OGs, and you'll see why all the modern stuff is trash.
And real quick aside, Sarah makes a good point in the chat. She says they're doing a re-release of the original FF7 on Steam. It's the same game, but it's not compatible with mods. So go buy FF7 on Steam OG right now for like $7 because that's the one that's compatible with mods. It will not be available after that new version comes out.
Good for pointing that out, Sarah. Yeah, do that, guys. If you want to play at 7 as it was, and you want to be able to upgrade the mods, you should do that. I think what they're realizing, you know why they did that? They know Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth just from the sales. They know it sucks dick. So what they're doing instead is they're like, hey, everybody's playing the OG and just updating the graphics and adding those like mods that put voices in there, right? They're doing that.
Echo S mods.
They're doing that instead of playing our slop. So let's make it so you can't mod the game. Instead of making our new games better, it's cheaper to mod the slot. And in fact, I did a whole video on this too, in case you guys didn't know. Square, in one of their license agreements, has the right to sue you if you criticize their game online. If you criticize it, they can sue you. That's literally like, he's being mean to me. Big Daddy Government, come.
Oh, your voice cut out again.
I think it's your end, man, because it's
lost you.
I think it's your end.
Oh, there you go.
You guys can. Yeah, I think it's something on your end over there.
Maybe.
But. Yeah, guys, so that's what Square has been doing for a while. There's a video in my YouTube channel about it. It's a few months, like it was sometime mid last year.
That's a good video.
And I go through the EULA and explain what they're doing.
By the way, I have to shout out to the Tsunamods mod, or the Echo S mod, which is the voice acting mod for FF7. They're developing one for 8 and 9 right now. And your boy plays a role in Final Fantasy 9.
Nice. Just some random bum in the background.
An NPC. Yeah, it's like an NPC with 10 lines.
Nice.
It's okay.
Nice. So yeah, remember, in Japan, the First Amendment does not exist. And again, if they tried to sue you in America, they like, good luck. But still, they have a thing that instead of making their games better, they will sue you for not liking them and expressing your opinion. Because if you express that opinion and you're like a big YouTuber or something, that affects their sales. So they'll sue you. Because you're being big mean.
being a little meanie
to their dog shit developers that are a bunch of woke retards that can't make anything properly. Just call a spade a spade. Like,
yeah.
people say we need to bring fat shaming back. I agree. We also need to bring back. We need to bring back.
You mean all shaming?
All shaming. All forms of shame need to be reintroduced into society. That's why we're here. That's why we're here in Hollywood. That's why we're here in the AAA industry. Is shame is not allowed anymore, and it's one of the most important God-given human emotions that is supposed to motivate us to be better.
It helps us grow. Yeah.
And if you feel no shame, have fun with Satan in hell, man. But anyway, I think
like Cecil, just convert to Christianity.
Yeah, just become a paladin, dude. Be a paladin. Kill your inner darkness.
It's not worth being a Dark Knight.
Cool, I mean, Dark Knights are pretty edgy, though. Man. It's pretty cool. All right, so I think that pretty much wraps up what I had. Do you have anything to add, chat? This has been awesome, man. We went through.
This has been way awesome.
Where we think where Final Fantasy was, what it became, what we hope it can become, but we're not really that hopeful that it's going to become that. And it's just the state of where we are, man.
It is, and you better believe. So whenever Final Fantasy 17 gets announced, we're doing another discussion like this for sure.
We will, for sure. Well, that's a great time to do one when it gets, and I imagine it'll probably be announced at some point this year. They have to at least put a teaser out for it. If I had to guess, around November, they might put a teaser out for it.
The only reason I would think otherwise is because this year I think is going to be the year of FF7R Part 3, and they wouldn't want to crowd it out. But once that's out, which I'm guessing is going to be Q1 next year, it's FF17 time.
Unless if you pre-order Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth or Retard, whatever it's going to be called, you get a special cosmetic weapon in Final Fantasy 17.
I could see it.
Yeah.
You get a Cactuar pajama set.
Yeah, something stupid that no one cares. Yeah, for their stupid realistic photo mode they're going to add in. And it auto shares to Blue Sky. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for hanging out. I know that for me, this will be the end of the stream for me. But I'll be back on Monday with some more World of Warcraft. Wednesday with some more. I think Wednesday we might finish up Secret of Mana Remake, which, by the way, the OG is better. And then Friday begins the World of Warcraft Midnight LAN party, where two other dudes will be here with me. Bigger zoomed out camera. We'll be messing with each other and playing games for the launch of Midnight, and we'll be streaming for lots of Friday, Saturday, and probably Sunday too. We'll see. But and I know Imaginator, you're gonna probably take like a half-hour break after this and then start your stream, right? You're doing some more Final Fantasy VI.
That's right. We're doing Speaking of the Devil. We're doing classic Final Fantasy VI. We're playing it in my virtual 80s and 90s bedroom. So if all this nostalgia talk tonight has gotten you feeling like you want to be back in the good old days, come to the stream. It is in an hour and a half, so it's late.
Oh, that's right. You start at 10, right? Yeah.
It's a nostalgia sleepover is what we call it. So it's 10 p.m. Mountain Time, midnight Eastern.
You stream so late, dude. Like my streams always end like right when yours go live.
I've got family life to take care of.
Yeah, I get it. So yeah, a good way to think of Imaginator and myself is my stream is where you come to face and laugh and black pill on reality, and Imaginators is where you go to escape from it. Okay, so
it's a good way to put it.
Yeah. But we have fun in both. Thanks everybody for coming and supporting out. The huge support, man. $206.
That is wild, bro. And that's a good shout out, because remember, I said every $100 we got on this stream, we're doing a giveaway on my stream and the Nostalgia Sleepover in an hour and a half. So we're giving away 2 gift cards, your choice between Steam, PlayStation, or Nintendo. Come get it.
Awesome. And I, because of the support, guys, I'll jump in at some point. Hopefully in Imaginators, and I'll gift 5 subs. So it's just random though. It's YouTube. I can't pick on YouTube who gets the sub. So good luck if you're there.
Heck yeah, dude.
But yeah, guys, awesome support from a lot of people. A lot of base people. Oh yeah, Imaginator I are we're Christian through and through, and that's what's crazy. We're not even the same denomination, but we respect each other, and we still believe in the same God, man. And it's so it's most important. And to be honest, yeah, I agree, because there is only one God, and it's Jesus Christ. And so at the end of the day, like if you want the main reason why video games and the world is so bad is because people have forgotten about him. So, but he hasn't forgotten about you. So he believes in you. Stop being.
And he's hoping FF17 is going to be.
Yeah,
good.
dude. He thought Final Fantasy 16 was retarded, and the 17 remake. He's like, I can't believe one of my creations made this. Humans were a mistake. That's what it is. But,
do we need to do the flood again?
I know, man. Flood it again, man. The meme. Flood it again, dude.
Flush it down.
Let it all go down. But guys, thanks for hanging out. We really appreciate it. What an awesome stream. We will do another collab. If not before the 17 announcement, that'll be the time. Make sure you guys tune in to Imaginator tonight for his Nostalgia Nation Final Fantasy VI. Maybe you'll win something. Maybe you'll get gifted a sub. Make sure you tune into my LAN party a week from today, where you'll see 3 men in their mid-40s playing a video game, like we used to. The same 3 guys we used to play every launch with since like the 90s, man. We're just gonna have a good time. Except for now, well, 2 of them have a lot of gray hair. I apparently don't age. I have Paul Rudd syndrome. But
yeah, I don't know what's wrong with you.
I look the same as I did like 20 years ago. But you never know. I'm gonna be like Bilbo Baggins and wake up one morning and I'll just look 1,000. Like an Asian, like the Asian guys, like they look so young, and then they hit an age and they're like they look like a stiff breeze is gonna turn them into gravel. Next cleansing will be fire. True. Yeah, 3 men in your mid 40s, not gay at all. So come hang out. It'll be a good time. Thanks for all the support, especially a big support, man, from Jeebus and Magic Dude. I mean, Wise Basic. Yeah, Wise Basic, man. Big support today, dude. You guys are, but everybody who supported and came to hang out. But before we go, one more plug for me and one for you. Go ahead. What times do you normally, like, what are your normal stream times, and what kind of YouTube videos are you currently working on?
So Nostalgia Nation's where we're at. Like Raziel explains, all about the good vibes, living in the good old times, reminiscing, supporting each other. Wednesday afternoons, so it's kind of random. I stream Wednesday afternoons during your workday. You can tune in and lurk to get yourself through the workday. Right now I'm playing Sandland, which is another Akira Toriyama game, guy that did Dragon Ball and Chrono Trigger. Really cool game. And Friday nights at 10 p.m. Mountain, midnight Eastern, we do our nostalgia.
That's so late,
we usually
dude.
play
That's
retro
crazy.
games. It's so late.
How do you stay up that late, dude, at your age, man?
And my people make me go to Wendy's after all.
I've seen some of those. I've seen some of those Wendy's like impromptu streams, dude. That's bonkers, man.
They're trying to kill me.
Yeah, apparently.
But we have a good time.
That's why you're younger than me and you look older than me. It's because you keep getting sent to Wendy's in the middle of the night.
The 3 kids help a little too.
Yeah, I'm sure that has an effect. Yeah. All right. Thanks for that. For me, I stream every Monday and Friday at 6 p.m. Obviously, this next coming weekend, Mountain Time, this next coming weekend's an exception. I don't normally stream all weekend, but that's kind of the trope. We'll take breaks and the stream will be offline for a bit. But then I also normally stream Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Mountain Time for all the people across the pond. What I'm working on now, YouTube. I mean, my channel is very big. It's not as big on nostalgia, though. I do have a new series on nostalgia stuff, but it's more focused around gaming in general, gaming news, and MMORPGs. So I just had 2 WoW guides come out since the expansion's coming out soon. I'm working on a video for the Ashes of Creation disaster that's going on. And then whatever else tickles my fancy. But yeah, and I normally stream 2 streams a week are dedicated usually to whatever MMO I'm currently playing, which is WoW, and then 1 is for an off game. Like right now I'm doing Secret of Mana, and I did Neo 3, and we'll continue to do that. But over $200. Yep, Imaginator says over 200. You guys are amazing. I'm gonna let everybody go now. Thanks for hanging out. No more blathering. Any last thing, Imaginator, you want to say? You want to say your goodbye?
No, that was awesome. Appreciate everybody's support. Thanks for having me on your channel, and let's definitely make it happen to this.
Yeah, next one will probably be on your channel. We'll just go back and forth.
Yeah,
but yeah, guys, take care of yourselves. Be safe. God bless you all, and as always, keep it real.